Chapter 10-12. Poor Vision _5. But Anai Young wasn't in a hurry. There were no electronic devices to pass the time in this era, and going back too early wouldn't matter anyway. Plus, sitting in the car and looking at the snow outside felt particularly romantic. By the way, Yang, have we recognized our second sister? Emochishan asked. Not yet. Anai Young shook her head and continued. The day before yesterday, my parents and both grandparents went to the Wu family's place, but Yin is very resistant to this matter. She's unwilling to acknowledge us. I plan to find a time to talk with her. Emochishan kept his gaze fixed ahead, as if the result didn't surprise him. If we really can't recognize her, then let's not, Emochishan went on. Some people just like to exaggerate everything. They never understand what contentment means. Anai Yang, as the elder sister, had already done enough. She didn't owe Wu Yinyan anything. More importantly, Emochishan didn't have a very high opinion of Wu Yinyan. Although she and Anai Yang were sisters, there was no comparability between them. Anai Yang said, Yinyan just can't accept the reality for the time being. She probably won't blow things out of proportion. Emochishan turned his eyes to Anai Yang. As an abandoned infant, it's natural for Wu Yinyan to harbor hatred. After all, she was the one who got thrown away. We don't know what she's been through over the years. But she shouldn't be unreasonable and cling to the issue after understanding the whole story. After all, in this matter, Anai Tsuehua was also a victim. In that environment, Anai Tsuehua had no way to resist. Moreover, throughout this period, Anai Yang had been very good to the Wu family. She rented out her own house for the Wu family to live in, lent money to Wu family's parents to start a business. Without Anai Yang, would the Wu family have their current situation? Would Wu Yinyan? Wu Yinyan was completely brainless. Anai Yang sighed. Emochishan continued. Did she show a bad attitude to your grandparents the day before yesterday? I'm not very clear about that, Anai Yang followed up. But I don't think so. After all, the grandparents have nothing to do with this matter. Their willingness to visit shows that they care about her. Yinyan isn't the type to act thoughtlessly. It was understandable for Wu Yinyan to hate Anai Tsuehua. After all, Anai Tsuehua was her birth mother. However, if she also hated grandfather Zheng and grandmother Zheng, she would be completely unjustified. After all, grandfather Zheng and grandmother Zheng had only just found their birth daughter, and the hurt they suffered was no less than that of Wu Yinyan. Wu Yinyan was aware of that part of the past, so Anai Yang believed that Yinyan wouldn't vent her anger on the elderly couple. Emochishan went on. I think the possibility is very high. Anai Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Emochishan spoke softly with his thin lips. Maybe it's a case of as the heart is, so is the countenance. Actually, I find Wu Yinyan a bit disagreeable. Wu Yinyan had a toughness about her that Anai Yang lacked. Hey, Anai Yang patted Emochishan's shoulder. That's my second sister you're talking about. Emochishan touched his chin. Yang, I think you should prepare yourself mentally in advance. This second sister may let you down. What nonsense. Anai Yang twisted Emochishan's ear. Yinyan isn't like that at all. Emochishan immediately begged for mercy. All right. I won't say it. I'll just stop. Before long, the car stopped at the entrance of the Anai family's courtyard. Emochishan opened the car door, holding up an umbrella. Yang, we have arrived. Anai Yang leaned out to get off the car. Emochishan handed the umbrella to Anai Yang. You should go inside quickly. It's late, I won't come in. Anai Yang nodded. Good, then you be careful driving back. I know, it's really cold outside, you should go inside quickly. Emochishan waved his hand. Anai Yang stood there without moving. I'll watch you drive off before I go in. In the past, it was always Emochishan watching her. Now it was her turn to watch him. Emochishan rubbed Anai Yang's head helplessly. I'm leaving now. Get to bed early tonight. Anai Yang nodded. It was only after watching the car disappear into the snowy night that Anai Yang turned and walked towards the house. Perhaps because of what Emochishan had said, after taking a bath, Anai Yang carried 2 cups of milk to grandmother Zheng's room. Grandpa and Grandma, you haven't slept yet? Grandmother Zheng pointed at the television. This TV show is really interesting. We're going to sleep after this episode ends. The television was broadcasting Yang Jiajiang. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 10:13. Poor eyesight _6. Ni Yang handed milk to both Elder Zheng and Elder Mrs. Zheng. Drinking a glass of milk before bed helps with sleep. As she finished, Ni Yang added, "By the way, Grandpa and Grandma, how was Yan Yan's attitude when you visited her the day before yesterday? Was she angry with you too?" Elder Mrs. Zheng evaded the serious issue and lightly responded, "She was abandoned at birth, so it's normal for her to be angry." Ni Yang raised her brows slightly. "Did she really give you a cold look?" No. Elder Mrs. Zheng shook her head in denial. "Your godmother was very warm to us. Yan Yan didn't give us a cold look. It's just that her attitude towards your mom wasn't very good." "Oh, is that so?" Ni Yang sighed in relief. It seemed the situation wasn't as complicated as Mo Qishan had described. She knew that Wu Yanyan was not the kind of person to be unreasonable. "Yang, when are you planning to have a chat with Yanyan?" Elder Mrs. Zheng continued to ask. Ni Yang had always had a good relationship with Wu Yanyan. And since Ni Yang had helped her before, Elder Mrs. Zheng thought that once Wu Yanyan had calmed down, she would probably be somewhat receptive to what Ni Yang had to say, right? Ni Yang said, "We'll go over when the winter break starts. Yanyan is just in her senior year this year, which is a critical time, and going now might distract her. By then, Yanyan would probably have calmed down a lot." And it was only a few days until the winter break started. Elder Mrs. Zheng nodded her head. On the other side, in the Yihua University dormitory, Li Muzi saw Zhang Qiuying had switched skincare products and curiously asked, "Zhang Qiuying, is this the eye skin jade face that Ni Yang brought you?" "Yes," Zhang Qiuying nodded. Li Muzi continued, "How much is this?" "It's domestically produced, and it doesn't look that great." 210 yuan, Zhang Qiuying answered. 210? That's so expensive. A sharp scream suddenly rang out from beside them. "Zhang Qiuying, you've been tricked by Ni Yang. How can this skincare be worth 200 yuan? The skincare my mom buys in M country isn't even that expensive. 210 yuan. It was absolutely shocking. The person who spoke was Zhou Ling, Li Muzi, and Wang Lisha were usually in sync, either sarcastic in their speech or acting high and mighty, socializing based on wealth, which was why Zhang Qiuying was indifferent towards them. Only someone who hasn't seen the world would make such a fuss. Although their family didn't have a lot of money, they wouldn't bat an eye at a skincare product worth 200 yuan. Wang Lisha appeared out of nowhere. "Zhou Ling and Muzi aren't lying. I've already asked someone to inquire back home, and everyone says they've never heard of the Ice Skin Jade Face brand. Zhang Qiuying, I'm giving you friendly advice here. Better not use these dubious products. Beware of ruining your face." Wang Lisha came from a prosperous city, and her family had a certain influence there. She had already called home to ask, and no one knew of the Ice Skin Jade Face brand. "You're the one who's going to ruin your face." Zhang Qiuying continued applying the product on her face. Zhang Qiuying trusted Ni Yang deeply. She knew Ni Yang would not deceive her. Holding her arms, Wang Lisha said, "I'm just giving you friendly advice. After all, we share a dorm room. Since you won't listen, then you can't blame me. Keep your false concern to yourself. I don't need it." Seeing how Zhang Qiuying was unappreciative, Wang Lisha snorted coldly and turned to leave. Li Muzi hurriedly followed her. Lisha, don't stoop to her level. She'll be the one regretting it later." "Exactly. She's like a dog biting Lu Dongbin, ungrateful." Zhou Ling chimed in with agreement. Wang Lisha's words didn't affect Zhang Qiuying at all. She earnestly applied the product on her face before climbing into bed to sleep. The next day, as soon as Ni Yang came downstairs, she saw Mo Qishan sitting in the living room having breakfast, looking as calm and composed as if the Ni family's home was his own. "Brother Mo, why are you so early?" Lowering his voice, Mo Qishan said, "The earlier I come, the more I get to see you." His voice was naturally deep, and when lowered, it carried an indescribable magnetism, especially pleasing to the ear. This man was simply too good at flirting. And Young pinched his face and said, "Have you no shame?" Just then, footsteps suddenly sounded from upstairs. And Young, without a blush or a skipped beat, let go and walked to the kitchen to serve the rice. Sixth brother has arrived. The newcomer was elder Lady Shangguan. "Good morning, Grandma." "Good morning." After breakfast, Emo Chishan drove Young to school. Snow had fallen all night, and the outside world looked stunningly beautiful, as if cloaked in silver. When getting out of the car, Emo Chishan took off his scarf and carefully tied it around Yang's neck. "Wife, wait for me to come back." The soft scarf carried a faint scent of tobacco, and Young nodded. "Okay, Brother Emo, I wish you all the best." Wu Yinyan stayed home bored for a day, and went to school the next day. After 2 days of snow, the roadside was piled with a layer of snow. It was then that she saw a familiar figure. Amid the icy snow's cape he walked forward in a thin robe, holding Buddha beads in his hand, leaving a trail of footprints in the snow. This man was none other than Grandpa Du. Seeing Grandpa Du, Wu Yinyun felt the accumulation of melancholy in her heart sweep away. Just as she was about to go over and greet him, she suddenly saw a middle-aged man in tattered clothes kneeling by the roadside begging. It was so bitterly cold, and he looked so pitiful that Wu Yinyun took 50 cents out of her pocket and gave it to him. "Uncle, go buy a bowl of noodles." The middle-aged man gratefully said, "Thank you. Thank you, young comrade. You're such a good person." Wu Yinyun smiled, then turned her head to look in Grandpa Du's direction, the smile freezing on her lips. Who was that standing beside Grandpa Du? Yang? What was she doing here? 3 or 4 days had passed, and Yang had neither shown up nor contacted her. She thought Yang must have been really busy, but it turned out Yang was just busy chatting with someone else. Yang had already known they were sisters, but she kept it a secret. After the truth came out, Yang even suggested becoming sworn kin. Sworn kin. So this was her dear sister. Yang was probably worried that she'd fight over the family fortune. But was she that kind of person? Even if the Ni family's wealth were put before her, she wouldn't glance at it twice. Wu Yinyun clenched her fists tight and walked away in the opposite direction. Yang glanced that way. Frowning slightly, she called out, "Yinyun." Hearing Yang's voice, Wu Yinyun ran faster. There was an alley nearby, and she quickly turned into it, her voice disappearing down the alley. Did I mistake her for someone else? Yang scratched her head. Grandpa Du also glanced in that direction. "Who did you see?" Yang explained. "My sister Wu Yinyun. Did you just see her?" Grandpa Du couldn't even remember what Wu Yinyun looked like. Even if he had seen her, he wouldn't recognize her. Twirling his Buddha beads, he said, "You probably got it wrong. If it really was her, she wouldn't have had no reaction to your call." "That's true." Yang retracted her gaze and continued. "It's so cold, aren't you freezing with so little on? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 10:14. Tit for tat in the winter cold. Yang, even clad in a thick down jacket, felt cold. However, Grandfather Du still wore that same old-fashioned long robe, stepping around in a pair of cloth shoes. "I was born with a cold constitution. I fear neither cold nor heat," Grandfather Du stated indifferently. Yang nodded, as if she had just remembered something. "Oh right, I think I've heard you say that before." Back in summer at the airport, when they were seeing Emo Chishan off, Yang had even joked that Grandfather Du's physique was ideal for medical experiments. "Why are you alone? Where's Peishi?" Grandfather Du twisted his Buddha beads, continuing to inquire. "He's gone to see city," Yang replied. Grandfather Du nodded slightly. As he passed the middle-aged man begging for alms, he instinctively reached for a banknote from his person to throw into the bowl. But just as he was about to toss it, a pale hand blocked his. "Don't give it to him." The middle-aged beggar was stunned, having thought he was about to score a small fortune today, only to have someone block his money-making path. This young girl was just too cruel. Not giving money was one thing, but to prevent others from giving. Couldn't she see how pitiful he was? Compared to the comrade who had just readily parted with 50 cents, she was far worse. The middle-aged man's face looked unpleasant. Grandfather Du looked up. The owner of the hand was Ni Yang, his face showing bewilderment, as he knew that Ni Yang was not someone without compassion. He's a professional beggar, Ni Yang explained. A professional beggar? Grandfather Du was somewhat puzzled. Ni Yang continued, simply put, someone who lives off begging. Don't think he looks pitiable now. When it comes time to clock out, his food and drink, his clothes and housing are all better than anyone else's. Though poor, he held firm to his pride. True paupers would not beg. It was the 80s. China's economy was thriving. As long as one had strength and wasn't disabled, basically no one would starve to death. In the future, professional beggars could be seen almost everywhere. In subways, in malls, some professional beggars were worth millions, owning dozens of apartments in the city. This middle-aged man could be considered a pioneer among professional beggars. How can you tell that he is a professional beggar? Grandfather Du asked. Ni Yang's tone was indifferent, not afraid of being overheard by the kneeling professional beggar. Look at how physically strong he is. He doesn't seem disabled at all. Since he's not disabled and in the prime of life, why can't he earn money with his own labor? The rice shop ahead offers 3 cents for carrying a sack of rice, and they hire year-round. Moreover, I've observed that regardless of wind or rain, he never misses a day. Such people exploit the sympathy of others for personal gain and satisfaction, and they truly don't deserve compassion. That's enough to conclude he's a professional beggar. Grandfather Du asked, still twisting his Buddha beads. Of course there's more. Ni Yang's eyes were clear and voice was soft. Even though he seems thin, his features are bright and animated. True beggars, due to constant inadequate nutrition, should appear thin and pale. Does he look like someone who can't get enough to eat to you? On hearing this, the middle-aged man on the ground broke into a cold sweat. He had been begging here for so long, and it was the first time someone had exposed him. And the person was a young girl, barely 18 or 19 years old. The feeling was indeed. It seemed he needed to find a new spot. The middle-aged man glanced up at Ni Yang, then got up and ran away in an embarrassing manner. Watching the middle-aged man's retreating figure, a smile appeared on Ni Yang's face, her dimples showing lightly. See, he fled in panic. Smiles are contagious. A slight curve also appeared on Grandfather Du's lips, like a flower blooming in the icy snow, ushering in a rebirth of all things. Wu Yinyun had not gone far. Instead, she hid behind an alley and watched. Because she was too far away, she couldn't clearly hear what they were saying, but she saw Ni Yang stopping Grandfather Du from giving money very clearly. What was Ni Yang doing? Was it intentional? Had she actually seen her already? Just because she had given the beggar 50 cents, should Ni Yang prevent Grandfather Du from giving money? It was one thing not to give money, but she actually drove away the poor beggar. Why did she do that? That was just too much. Wu Yinyun bit her lip tightly, staring angrily at the back of Ni Yang. It's already noon, have you eaten? Ni Yang pulled out a wristwatch from her pocket, looked at the time, and asked Grandfather Du if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know, report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 10:15. Tit for tat _2. No, Grandpa Du shook his head. With the idea of caring for the elderly who live alone in mind, and recalling Mo Kishin's advice, Ni Yang continued, then let's go have dinner together, I haven't eaten either. Okay. Grandpa Du originally thought Ni Yang would take him somewhere fancy, but instead, she took him to an unknown food street. In the cold weather, the food street was bustling with people and the scents of various foods mingled together. It was quite fragrant, but for someone like Grandpa Du who was accustomed to high-end hotels, it was somewhat uncomfortable, mainly because such roadside stalls couldn't possibly be very clean. Grandpa Du glanced at Ni Yang and saw no sign of disgust in her eyes. This person really isn't picky. In fact, Ni Yang wasn't particular about food at all. She could be seen in high-end Western restaurants elegantly eating steak, or sitting at a roadside stall eating spicy hot soup without any care for her image. As long as it tastes good, what's the fuss about? If you're always worried about this and that in life, what's the fun in that? Sit down. Ni Yang led Grandpa Du to a wonton stall and sat down. Don't be fooled by the simplicity of this stall, it's actually quite tasty. Technology is advancing, and the times are progressing. In the past, wontons were only available in Guangguan, but now, as more people start businesses, Beijing's delicacies have also increased. Grandpa Du leaned forward and sat opposite An Yang, placing the Buddha beads on the table and taking out a handkerchief from his pocket, meticulously wiping the bowls and chopsticks. An Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. This person is quite particular. Eating at a roadside stall and still worrying about hygiene? Boss, give me a bowl of chicken soup wontons. As she spoke, An Yang looked at Grandpa Du. What would you like? They have rice noodle rolls here as well. The same as you. Grandpa Du glanced down. Okay. An Yang nodded and told the shopkeeper, then we'll have 2 portions of chicken soup wontons, and also 1 spicy duck head and 1 gizzard, that's all. All right, just a moment. Soon, the wontons and braised duck head were served. An Yang grabbed a duck head immediately. I'm starting, don't be shy. First, she took a bite of the spicy duck head, letting the spicy and fresh taste fill her mouth, then followed it with a sip of delicious chicken soup. It was incredibly satisfying. Seeing An Yang's satisfied expression, Grandpa Du also picked up a duck head and took a bite. Although the taste wasn't as exquisite as that of the fancy places, it wasn't as bad as he had imagined. Try the gizzard too, it's also pretty good. An Yang finished a duck head and shifted her attention to the gizzards. They gradually felt warm while eating. An Yang took off her scarf and looked at Grandpa Du, whose forehead had no trace of sweat, envying his physique. After finishing their meal and leaving the food street, An Yang said, how was it? The taste of the roadside stall isn't bad, right? Much better than I imagined. Grandpa Du fiddled with his Buddha beads. Is this your first time eating at a roadside stall? An Yang was somewhat surprised. Grandpa Du gave a slight nod. An Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Then you really are out of touch. Out of touch? Is that used to describe men? Grandpa Du smiled. You have a way with compliments. As they walked and talked, just then, a little boy holding a snowball ran towards them, laughing as he tried to dodge an attack from a playmate. Kids really don't watch where they're going, and just as he was about to run into An Yang, before Grandpa Du could react, An Yang quickly steadied the little boy. Slow down, be careful. The little boy looked up. Wow. This sister is so beautiful, his face instantly blushed. Thank you, sister. And then he ran off quickly. Watching the little boy's retreating figure, An Yang smiled and said, kids are great, carefree. Grandpa Du nodded slightly, then asked, if you had the chance, would you want to go back to being 5 or 6 years old? My childhood wasn't carefree. An Yang smiled with a twinkle in her eye. A poor family's child has to mature early. She had to help with chores at the age of 5 or 6, and if she didn't do them well, she'd get beaten. There was no such thing as a carefree childhood. What about you? Would you want to go back to being 5 or 6 years old? An Yang asked in return. Grandpa Du's lips curled slightly, his eyes looking distant. I probably wouldn't either. Some people's growth is full of hardships. Having grown up through so much, who would want to relive that pain all over again? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1016. Tit for tat _3. If time could flow backward, he wanted to return to 3 years ago, to meet some people a bit earlier, and some events. But in this world, where is there talk of time reverting? Thinking of this, the smirk at the corner of Master Du's mouth gradually turned into derision. Because An Yang had other matters to attend to, she said goodbye to Master Du at the crossroads. Not long after An Yang left, a little black bird flew over and landed on Master Du's shoulder. You little rascal! How did you get here? Master Du extended his index finger and tapped the little bird's head. I'm hungry. Hungry. I'm starving. Duo snuggled against Master Du's chin, seeking favor. Master Du pulled out a silk pouch from his waist. Upon seeing the pouch, the entire bird perked up. Master Du took out some bird feed from the pouch to feed Duo. You only think of me when you're hungry. A greedy bird. Does your owner mistreat you? Seeing Duo eating without looking up, Master Du chuckled. And I Young put on a mask, dressed in disguise, and went to luxurious skincare to observe the employees' service attitude. Though luxurious skincare is now quite popular in Beijing and the effects are excellent, the service attitude must not be neglected. After all, in the future, many luxury brand clerks would get a bad reputation for their arrogance. Customers aren't coming to spend money to get mistreated, after all. Possibly because there was a commission involved, and I Young visited 4 stores, and the service attitude in each was particularly good. They would actively explain the membership system to customers and promote skincare products suitable for the consumer's skin type. Of course, training played a part in all this. Before each employee started, an I Young would arrange for a foreign instructor to provide training. The first point in the employee handbook was to avoid being snobbish. Do not look down on any customer. Even if a customer enters the store wearing patched clothes, they must be greeted with a smile. And I Young was very satisfied with everything she saw and planned to give them a raise next month. Just then, a young woman came running toward the store in a hurry. She was so rushed that she didn't see the glass door in front of her. With a thud, she crashed directly into the glass door. Are you okay? And I Young quickly helped her up. The young woman seemed to be in her early 20s, sporting the latest popular permed hair, and wearing bright red lipstick, with her brows shaped like willow leaves and her eyes, like crescent moons, exceptionally spirited. However, she was dressed in a light blue work uniform, apparently having just gotten off work before rushing here. And I Young suddenly remembered that today was the day luxurious skincare was selling a limited edition set, but by now, the limited edition product was already sold out. I'm fine, thank you, comrade. I've got to run, I have things to do. The young woman stood up and ran into the luxurious skincare store. After the young woman entered the store, and I Young took off her mask, straightened her clothes, and followed inside. As expected, the young woman was there to buy luxurious skincare's limited edition gift box. Upon hearing from the employee that it had sold out, she said with surprise, "How could you have sold out so early? I've just gotten off work and haven't even changed my clothes." Luxurious skincare would be sold in 2 time slots at the beginning and end of each month. One at 9 in the morning, and the other at 3:30 in the afternoon. It wasn't even 5 o'clock yet. Sold out already? The employee smiled and said, "Some customers who didn't get it in the morning lined up early to buy it together in the afternoon. The gift boxes were already sold out by 4 o'clock. Is that so? If I knew this, I would have taken a day off today." The young woman looked disappointed. The employee continued, "Although we don't have the limited edition set anymore, we do have non-limited editions available. Would you like me to recommend something?" The young woman waved her hand. "I can buy the non-limited edition anytime. I'm buying the limited edition as a gift. Can't you make an exception for me?" She really needed a box of luxurious skincare. The store manager spotted An I Young approaching and immediately greeted her. "Miss An I, welcome." An I Young nodded her head. "Bring me a set of that limited edition." Although the sets were officially sold out, the store still kept a spare in reserve just in case. "Of course, one moment, please." The store manager took out a box of the luxurious skincare set and handed it to An I Young. "Thank you." An I Young took the gift box and walked out at a leisurely pace. Just as An I Young stepped out of the store, the young woman who had just approached ran after her. "Comrade, wait up. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 10:17. Tit for tat _4. Is there something you need? An I Young glanced back slightly. The young woman was taken aback, apparently not expecting An I Young to be so attractive. "Comrade, may I ask how you managed to buy this limited edition of Ice Skin Jade Skin? When I went to buy it just now, they said it was already sold out." An I Young smiled slightly. "I know the store manager at their place a bit, and this was specially reserved for me." The young woman nodded and then said, "Comrade, wait a moment, can we discuss something?" "What is it?" asked An I Young. The young woman continued, "Comrade, let me introduce myself first. My name is Li Tong and I work at Morning Light Group at number 85 Goldie Road. Don't worry, I'm not a bad person. And I Young replied with a smile. I know you're not a bad person. Li Tong said. Hey, race the thing, comrade. I urgently need a set of the limited edition Ice Skin Jade Skin gift box for a gift. Would you be willing to sell me the one you have? I'm willing to pay 3 times the price. Is that okay? Li Tong was very sincere. And I Young hesitated for a moment, then said, I can't. Why not? Each box of Ice Skin Jade Skin costs 210 yuan. And 3 times that is 630 yuan. That would be quite a profit. Li Tong became anxious. Comrade, do you think the money is too little? If 3 times isn't enough, I can do 5 times. We can negotiate the price. Since you know the store manager, you could just ask him to reserve another box for you later. That way you could make a nice little profit. And I Yang said with a laugh. It's not about the money, I also need it for a gift. How about you leave your contact info, and I'll sell you a box tomorrow. Ah, what a coincidence. Although a bit disappointed, Li Tong was still not ready to give up. Comrade, please sell it to me. The person I want to give it to has their birthday today, and it won't mean as much after today. Li Tong was really in a hurry. Li Tong had a relative who was difficult to talk to but very wealthy, and this relative was in their 50s, without children or a spouse. Whoever could win her favor wouldn't have to worry about money in the future. For a woman in her 50s, wrinkles are the enemy, and this relative also cared immensely about her appearance. The Ice Skin Jade Skin set included an anti-wrinkle cream. If Li Tong could give this as a gift today, she would surely win her relative's favor, which is why she was so anxious. Seeing Ai Yang still hesitant, Li Tong bit her lip and continued. Comrade, I'll pay 10 times the price. 10 times. 210 yuan becoming 2,100 yuan. Li Tong's heart was bleeding. All right then. Ai Yang handed over the gift box to Li Tong. Did she just agree? Li Tong was surprised, and also reflected inwardly that indeed, no one can resist money. Thank you so much, comrade. Li Tong continued. But I don't have that much cash on me right now. Could you come to the bank with me? Ai Yang shook her head. Just give me 210. 210? Li Tong was stunned. Hadn't they agreed on 10 times the price? Had she heard wrongly? Ai Yang continued. The original price of Ice Skin Jade Skin is 210 yuan. If I took 2,100 yuan from you, wouldn't that be extortion? You seem more desperate than me. Helping others is like helping yourself. Here, take it. Li Tong hadn't expected this response from Ai Yang, thinking to herself that this young lady was rather nice. She smiled and said, under circumstances where both parties are willing, this wouldn't be called extortion, you know? Comrade, are you sure you want to sell it to me for 210? Although pained by the thought of the 2,100 yuan, Li Tong wasn't one to go back on her word. Ai Yang nodded. It's like making a new friend then. My name is Ai Yang. You can just call me by my name. All right, then you call me by my name too. Li Tong took out 210 yuan from her pocket and handed it to Ai Yang. Ai Yang took the money, and they both left the mall together. Just as Ai Yang turned to leave, Li Tong suddenly called out. Ai Yang, wait a moment. Is there something else? Ai Yang turned around slightly. Li Tong fished out a notebook and a pen from her pocket. Ai Yang, what's your phone number? Do you mind leaving it with me? That way, we can keep in touch more often. Ai Yang knew the store manager of Ice Skin Jade Skin. And with that contact, Li Tong could buy as many boxes of Ice Skin Jade Skin she wanted anytime. That would be really convenient. Using limited edition items also tended to be good for networking. Li Tong felt that her luck today was incredibly good. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1018. Tit for tat _5. Ai Yang wanted this exact effect and nodded, saying, all right. Then he recited a string of phone numbers. After memorizing Ai Yang's phone number, Li Tong tore a page from his notebook and handed it to Ai Yang. Ai Yang, this is my house's phone number. Okay. Ai Yang nodded slightly. The next day was Saturday, and Ai Tsuehua went to the Wu family. Having learned from the last experience, This time she didn't bring Old Master Zheng or Old Lady Zheng, nor did she bring Shengguan de Hui. She came quietly. The door of the Wu family was closed. Enai Cuehua stood at the door and knocked. Knock, knock, knock. After a short while the door opened. The person who opened the door was Wu Dalong. Seeing Enai Cuehua, Wu Dalong joyfully said, "Auntie Hua, you've come." Enai Cuehua, smiling, handed the candy she was holding to Wu Dalong. "Dalong, is your mom at home?" Wu Dalong shook his head. "Mom went to Dad's company." Wu Jinshu was in charge of the construction site for Enai Yang at Jinghua village. Someone had to supervise the construction company. "Is your sister at home?" Enai Cuehua continued to ask. "She's at home, just sister and us," Wu Dalong answered. Enai Cuehua nodded. Wu Dalong then said, "Auntie Hua, please come in and sit." He then raised his voice and yelled towards the inside, "Big sister, Erlong, we have guests. Come out." Enai Cuehua followed Wu Dalong inside. Wu Yinyin and Wu Erlong came out of the room. "Who's here?" "Yinyin, it's me." Enai Cuehua emerged from behind. Seeing Enai Cuehua, Wu Yanyin's expression instantly changed. The last person she wanted to see now was Enai Cuehua. The sight of Enai Cuehua reminded her that she was a child abandoned, and also brought back memories of her tragic past. "Why are you here?" "Yinyin, Facing Wu Yinyin, Enai Cuehua seemed a little flustered. "I've already made it very clear last time. Our family doesn't welcome someone like you. Please leave immediately." Wu Yinyin pointed towards the door. Wu Dalong frowned. "Big sister, how can you speak to Auntie Hua like that? You're being so rude." "That's right, big sister. How can you ask Auntie Hua to leave? She's a guest. She's also an elder." Wu Erlong also seemed upset. Enai Cuehua had always been so kind to their family. How could Wu Yinyin act this way? Wu Yinyin looked down at her two brothers. "This has nothing to do with you two. Go back to your room." Wu Dalong refused to go, and Wu Erlong also remained standing. "Go back now." Under pressure, Wu Dalong had no choice but to head towards the room, taking Wu Erlong with him. Just before they reached the room's door, he looked back at Wu Yinyin. "Big sister, if you dare to be rude to Auntie Hua, when Dad and Mom come back, I am going to tell them. Let them punish you." After Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong went into the room, Wu Yinyin coldly faced Enai Cuehua. "A person lives with a face, a tree lives with a bark. What exactly do you want? To stop harassing me?" Enai Cuehua, with tears in her eyes, said, "Child, I know I've wronged you. What do I need to do to earn your forgiveness?" No matter how Wu Yinyin treated her, this child was still the one she carried for 10 months. Not protecting her own child, it was her failure. She just wanted to compensate Wu Yinyin more. "Forgive you?" Wu Yinyin looked at Enai Cuehua, her lips curling with sarcasm. "From the moment you abandoned me, I will never forgive you again. Since you decided to throw me away at the beginning, why pretend now? It really makes me sick." Sick, so her own daughter found her disgusting. Enai Cuehua felt as if a knife was cutting through her heart. "Yinyin, don't be like this. Listen to my explanation. At that time I had no choice. The Mu family valued boys over girls." She had resisted, but resistance only resulted in a severe beating. At that time, Enai Yang was still young, and her family wasn't supportive, so she could only watch as her newborn daughter was discarded. Her daughter was discarded, and she felt more tormented than anyone. No choice? No choice allows you to throw away your own daughter? Did you ever think I am a human life? If I hadn't been picked up by my mom, I'd be dead by now. You have no rights to my forgiveness. Everyone urged her to let go of the past, to try and understand Enai Cuehua's hardships. They said it lightly because none of them were the ones who were abandoned. They will never understand her pain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1019. Tit for tat _6. I'm sorry. Enai Cuehua took out a passbook from her bag. "This is some money I've saved over the years. The password is your birthday." That money was all saved from selling spicy strips by Enai Cuehua, adding up to more than 90,000 yuan. 90,000 yuan was already a huge sum of money in those days. I don't need it. Wu Yanyan swatted away the passbook being offered. Do you think this money can make up for the hurt you've caused me? Never in a million years. Anai Tsuehua reached out to pick up the passbook, her face streaked with tears. Wu Yanyan looked down at Anai Tsuehua. Do you want me to forgive you? Anai Tsuehua looked at Wu Yanyan, a flash of joy in her eyes. Yanyan, are you willing to forgive me? There's one way you can earn my forgiveness. Tell me. Anai Tsuehua said eagerly. Wu Yanyan continued. You just throw away Anai Yun as well, let her taste what it's like to be abandoned, and he'll forgive you. Why should she be the only one to endure all this pain? It would only be fair if everyone took their turn. Otherwise, she would never forgive Anai Tsuehua. What? Anai Tsuehua looked at Wu Yanyan in disbelief. Anai Tsuehua could never have imagined Wu Yanyan would make such a demand. To throw away little Anai Yun too? How could she do such a thing? What's the matter? Can't bear it. Wu Yanyan's mouth curved with a mocking arc. If you could abandon me when there was no other way, why can't you abandon Anai Yun when there's no other way? Just because she's your most beloved youngest daughter? Do you think that's fair? Anai Tsuehua said to Wu Yanyan. She's your sister. Not taking good care of her own child was her responsibility, but how could Wu Yanyan transfer that anger onto little Anai Yun? What did this have to do with little Anai Yun? This wasn't a matter of fairness at all. Anai Tsuehua looked at Wu Yanyan in front of her, feeling this person was excessively strange. I have only 3 younger brothers. No sisters. And certainly no beloved younger sister treasured like a pearl by the family. Look, the moment you talk about throwing away Anai Yun, Anai Tsuehua changes. Because she simply can't bear to part with Anai Yun. All that talk of having no choice, of being forced, it was all excuses. All of it, just excuses. Apart from that demand, I can meet any other request of yours. Anai Tsuehua closed her eyes in agony. Don't need them, I have only this one demand. Wu Yanyan continued. Now go and abandon your most beloved youngest daughter, and then when she comes of age, find her again and give her some money, see if your most loved little girl will forgive you. Anai Tsuehua looked at Wu Yanyan with tearful eyes. Yanyan, isn't this asking too much of me? This is all my fault. You can beat me or scold me, but it has nothing to do with Yanyan. The child is innocent. I beg you not to do this. Wu Yanyan sighed. Her heart was filled with immense sorrow. She didn't know why fate had assigned her such a mother, so cruel and so biased. Anai Yun is already 3 years old in nominal age. I had just been born when I was abandoned. Playing favorites like this, what right do you have to be a mother? Anai Tsuehua cried inconsolably, barely able to utter a complete sentence. Wu Yanyan continued. Since you don't want to abandon Anai Yun, then I'll step back. Anai Tsuehua looked up at Wu Yanyan. If you don't want to abandon Anai Yun, then drive Anai Yang out of the house, sever the mother-daughter relationship, and from now on live your lives completely apart. Wu Yanyan enunciated each word, making Anai Kuihua's heart grow colder. Are you joking with me? How could she possibly sever the mother-daughter relationship with Anai Yang? She couldn't do it. If it hadn't been for Anai Yang bringing her back from Dam Village, would she even have her current life? If it were Anai Yang standing in Wu Yanyan's shoes today, would Anai Yang be so aggressive? The answer was clear. Anai Yang definitely wouldn't act this way. I'm serious. Wu Yanyan continued. If you really were a fair mother, if you truly intend to acknowledge me as your daughter, then you should let your other daughter experience the pain I went through back then. If Anai Tsuehua was willing to break with Anai Yang, then she would be willing to forgive Anai Tsuehua. It was a matter of how much she mattered to Anai Tsuehua. She was just returning the favor. Anai Tsuehua looked at Wu Yanyan with a heart-wrenching pain and said, She's your sister. Child. She's your sister. If it hadn't been for your sister, I would be dead by now. You wouldn't have what you have now. How could you speak such words? Where is your conscience? Conscience? Wu Yanyan looked at Anai Tsuehua, her lips curling with sorrow. Her conscience had been eaten by dogs long ago. Anai Tsuehua has the nerve to ask about her conscience. They all said Anai Yang had helped her. But without the Zheng family's influence, what could Anai Yang have done to help her? And Na Yang had known about her origins for a long time but kept it hidden, offering help out of guilt. And Na Yang wouldn't even spare a beggar on the street side, so how could she have been so kind-hearted as to help her? She had misjudged the person. Get out! Wu Yanyan didn't want to say any more, pointing at the door and saying, "Get out right now." As a child who was thrown away, Wu Yanyan had already been forbearing, but her blood-related mother kept disappointing her. And Suehua took a deep breath. "Child, I hope what you said today was just an impulse. I'll be leaving first." Wu Yanyan thought that Anide Suehua would stay, continuing to plead for her forgiveness. But she hadn't expected Anide Suehua to actually leave. She left without looking back. She was the one who'd been cast aside, so why should she suffer so much pain and humiliation? Wu Yanyan sat in the chair and sobbed silently. Anide Suehua walked down the road, her soul seemingly in tatters. She didn't understand why Wu Yanyan had become like this. This child wasn't like this before. 2 hours later, Anide Suehua finally returned to Jinghua village. And Na Yang saw that something was wrong with her, and asked her what had happened. Anide Suehua sighed. "I went to see Yanyan, but she still can't let go of the past." "Yang, didn't you say you wanted to have a good talk with Yanyan? She's still very angry now, so it's best if you don't go recently, lest she takes out her anger on you." She didn't mention the 2 conditions that Wu Yanyan raised. Subconsciously, she still hoped Wu Yanyan would come around. People say things they don't mean when they're extremely emotional. Maybe after some time she'll have a change of heart. And Na Yang slightly furrowed her brow. "Is Yanyan still very angry?" "MHM. Anide Suehua nodded her head. A misunderstanding could be resolved. Anide Suehua had made trip after trip, pouring out a mother's sorrow. And Na Yang didn't understand what grudge still lingered in Wu Yanyan's heart. Could it be just as Mo Qishan had said? That Wu Yanyan was making a big deal out of it? "Let's leave it at that. I'm going upstairs to sleep for a while," Anide Suehua said as she walked upstairs. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 10:20. Yang got angry and Yang watched Anai Kuihua's figure, her thoughts deepening. Today was Saturday, and during dinner, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi came back. Anide Suehua, after an afternoon of rest, was in much better spirits and looked at Shangguan Shi. "Xiaoxi, how are things going with you and Zueling?" Shangguan Shi was her daughter too, and she couldn't neglect her just because of the issues with Wu Yanyan. Considering Zueling's family situation, if Shangguan Shi really married into it, the tough days would be yet to come. Shangguan Shi smiled and said, "My relationship with Zueling is very stable, and we've cleared up the misunderstanding from last time. Actually, it's not true that his family prefers boys over girls. After all, Zueling is a college graduate. His level of thinking and awareness aren't that low. Mom, you can rest assured." "Really?" Anide Suehua was somewhat doubtful. She always felt that there was more to the situation. "Really?" Shangguan Shi nodded her head. Shangguan Dehui continued, "You are just too stubborn, child. You won't learn your lesson until you face some hardships." Shangguan Shi said with a laugh, "As long as Zueling is not that type of person, everyone can stop worrying." Shangguan Granny helplessly shook her head, her eyes filled with concern. So alike. The child was just too much like Sufun. Sometimes, the more you try to persuade, the more counterproductive it becomes. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. "Do you know that Chenjun has come back?" "Yes," Shangguan Shi nodded her head. "He even gave me a ride to my unit the day before yesterday morning." Shangguan Su joked, "Chenjun graduated from a famous university abroad, and I see that he cares about you quite a bit. Being with him would surely be better than being with Zueling." Phew. Shangguan Shi spit out a mouthful of rice and couldn't stop coughing. Anide Suehua quickly grabbed a tissue and handed it to Shangguan Shi, patting her back. Slow down, slow down." Shangguan Shi casually wiped her mouth and looked at Shangguan Su with an expression of disbelief. "Brother, what are you joking about? Wu Lao San and it's impossible." Shangguan Su said calmly. "How do you know it's impossible without trying? When it comes to family background, looks, and capability, he is at least 100 times better than Zueling. Compared with Wu Chenjun, What was Zhuoling? It was Shangguan Zai's lack of judgment that made her fancy someone like Zhuoling. Brother, please stop. An uncomfortable Shangguan, she said. Wu Lao-san and I grew up together like close buddies. Can buddies become partners? Don't try to matchmake randomly. Shangguan Su picked up a piece of braised pork. If you really have no thoughts about it, just ignore what I said. But if you end up with Zhuoling and suffer in their family, don't come crying to me. Shangguan Shi laughed. Don't worry, bro. I guarantee I won't come crying to you. Shangguan Su didn't say anything more. Shangguan Shi then said, by the way, Mom and Dad, I plan to visit Zhuoling's parents this week. And Suehua was startled. This quickly. If both sets of parents had met, engagement wouldn't be far off. Shangguan Dehui looked at Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, are you sure about this? Yes, I've thought it through, Shangguan Shi replied. Sooner or later we have to meet the parents. It's better earlier than later. And Suehua frowned and then said, Xiaoxi, don't tell Zhuoling's parents about our family's true situation when you go this time. As for gifts, there's no need for anything too expensive. Just buy some fruit, bring a couple pounds of meat, and 2 pounds of brown sugar. Ah, isn't that too shabby? Shangguan Shi was taken aback. Shangguan Shi was originally planning to bring a box of ginseng from Changbai Mountain. Shangguan Dehui put down his chopsticks. I think your mother is right. Zhuoling's family situation is too complex. If you bring expensive gifts on your first visit, you might not see their true colors. All right, Shangguan Shi nodded. I'll listen to you. Shangguan Shi was stubborn when it came to emotional matters, but she would still take her parents' advice on some things. After all, her parents were looking out for her best interests. After dinner, Grandma Zheng found Anai Suehua. Ting, did you go to see Yin again today? Anai Suehua responded with surprise. Mom, how did you find out? Grandma Zheng said. I could tell something was wrong with you this afternoon. Is Yin still unwilling to forgive us? Anai Suehua nodded her head. Grandma Zheng sighed. Maybe you just don't have that mother-daughter fate with her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1021. Yang got angry _2. It would be normal for Wu Yinyin to have harbored some resentment, but after such a long time, it should have faded. She had her own suffering, but Anai Suehua had her own grievances too. And besides, Wu Yinyin wasn't young anymore. Grandma Zheng patted Anai Suehua on the hand. Ting, I'm going to say something you might not want to hear, but if you really can't recognize her as your daughter, then let it be. A twisted melon is never sweet. Anai Kuihua's eyes reddened. But she is still my daughter. She was the one who had wronged Wu Yinyin. No matter what, she still hoped that Wu Yinyin could forgive her. As a mother herself, Grandma Zheng understood the pain in Anai Kuihua's heart. The next day was Sunday. Anai Suehua and Shangguan Dehui, as usual, paid a visit to the children at the orphanage. Shangguan Shi went back with Zhuoling to meet his parents. Shangguan Shi didn't bring anything expensive, just some apples and bananas, and then 2 pounds of meat and 2 pounds of brown sugar. Zhuoling, do you think your uncle and auntie will like me? Shangguan Shi was a bit nervous. Zhuoling smiled. No way, I guarantee they'll love you. Although Zhuoling's parents had a preference for Chen Liebao, Zhuoling had made his intentions clear to them. Even if they didn't like Shangguan Shi, they'd have to feign their approval. After saying this, Zhuoling continued, Xiaoxi, it's Sunday today and the nanny has the day off. It's just my dad and mom at home. There's something I need to tell you in advance. Go ahead. Zhuoling explained. My mom used to be a little leader at her workplace, so her temper can be a bit idiosyncratic. If there's any lack of hospitality, please don't take it to heart. She's just used to giving orders, but she's not a bad person at heart. Knowing his mother's character, Zhuoling needed to give Shangguan Shi a heads up. Having been with Shangguan Shi for 3 years, Zhuoling knew that she was an empathetic and understanding girl. As long as things were explained to her, she would understand. Shangguan Shi nodded. Don't worry. Let's go then. It wasn't long before they arrived at the Zhuo family home. The Zhuo family lived in a residence allocated by the unit, within a courtyard where everyone knew each other. The environment in the courtyard was quite nice, neat and tidy, though it paled in comparison to the Inai family's detached courtyard house. Seeing Zhuoling bring a young and beautiful girl home, everyone teased him with a smile. Xiaozhua, who's this? Your girlfriend? Yes, Auntie 5, this is my girlfriend Shangguanxi. Xiaoxi, this is Auntie 5, she lives above us and is also a colleague of my parents. Shangguanxi greeted her politely. Hello Auntie 5. Hello this girl is quite pretty. No wonder Zhuoling wasn't interested in Chen Liebao. Compared to Shangguanxi, Chen Liebao just didn't hold a candle. Hearing someone praise Shangguanxi's looks, Zhuoling's face beamed with pride. Marrying a beautiful bride like her was his own achievement. Could Auntie 5's son ever manage to marry someone as beautiful as Shangguanxi? The Zhua family lived on the 3rd floor in a spacious 3-bedroom apartment. The place was tidy, which also showed that Zhuoling's mother was a person who liked cleanliness. Shangguanxi, who had a mild case of OCD, was relieved to see how neat and clean the Zhua family home was. Zhuoling's parents were sitting on the sofa. Zhuoling introduced Shangguanxi to them. Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend Shangguanxi. Shangguanxi very politely placed the gifts she had brought aside. Hello Uncle and Auntie, I'm Shangguanxi. You can just call me Xiaoxi. Zhuoling's mother glanced sideways at the gifts Shangguanxi had brought. Bananas, apples, meat, brown sugar. Just ordinary things nobody wanted. Did they seem like a family that couldn't afford meat to her? Not bringing some nutritious and valuable gifts on the first visit, it seemed like she had no home training. Every time Chen Liebao visited, she would bring bags of good stuff. Malted milk, royal bee jelly, bird's nest. And with that she wanted to marry her son? In her dreams. Zhuoling's father stood up with a smile. You girl, there was no need to bring anything. Come sit down, sit down. Zhuoling kept winking at his mother. Seeing it was for her son's sake, Zhuoling's mother stood up. We didn't know in advance you were coming, so we didn't prepare anything. Xiaoxi, would you like some tea or a soft drink? Zhuoling's family was somewhat better off than average, otherwise, they wouldn't have a nanny. This statement was actually a veiled boast. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1022. Yang is angry _3. Their family was enjoying drinks already. Estimating Shangguanxi's family probably even struggled to get enough to eat. Auntie, you're too kind. Water is fine for me. Zhuoling didn't dare challenge his mother's authority. He immediately stood up and said, Mom, please sit, I'll get Xiaoxi some water. Hearing this, Zhuoling's mother's face became even more unhappy. Her son was her precious darling. Zhuoling had never poured her a glass of water from childhood to adulthood. Yet today he actually wanted to pour water for a little girl. They weren't even married yet, and it was already like this. What would it be like after the wedding? A woman actually letting a man serve her. She didn't know who had raised her. Shangguanxi had already informed Zhuoling in advance that his mother had a peculiar temper, so she didn't take the changes in Zhuoling's mother's expression to heart. Zhuoling's mother pointed to the sofa and said, Sit. Thank you, Auntie. Shangguanxi sat on the sofa. Zhuoling's mother also sat down and then said, Xiaoxi, I heard from Lingling that your family is from the countryside. Is that right? Yes. Shangguanxi nodded. Zhuoling's mother smiled and asked, How many people are in your family altogether? Including my grandparents and my grandmother, there are 9 people, Shangguanxi said, including Wu Yinyan and her count. After all, Wu Yinyan was also a part of their family. In the countryside, supporting 3 elderly people and a few children must be quite difficult for your parents, isn't it? Zhuoling's mother asked. Shangguanxi replied, It's manageable. Manageable? Mockery filled Zhuoling's mother's eyes. If it were truly manageable, then Shangguanxi wouldn't have needed to cling to Zhuoling so desperately. She didn't know what kind of love potion this girl had fed to Zhuoling to make him so determined to marry her. She wasn't even taking a look at herself, thinking she was worthy of Zhuoling? Xiaoxi, you've seen our family's conditions. Lingling is the only son under his 7 sisters. After your uncle and I pass on, everything in the house will belong to Lingling. This child Lingling is naive, if not for. At that moment, Zuoling came over with a glass of water, interrupting his mother. Mom, hey, race water, have some water. While passing the glass of water to his mother, he made meaningful eye contact with her. Though Shangguanxi was understanding and simple-natured, she wasn't a fool. If Zuoling's mother continued talking, this whole thing might just fall through. Zuoling certainly didn't want to marry Chen Liebao, that pig. Zuoling's mother gave Zuoling a glare as she took the glass of water. Then Zuoling passed another glass of water to Shangguanxi. Xiaoxi, drink some water. Thank you. Shangguanxi expressed her thanks. Zuoling smiled and said, What are you thanking me for? Zuoling's mother sized up Shangguanxi and then asked, Xiaoxi, how much do you weigh? Shangguanxi was stunned. Huh? What did you say? Zuoling's mother asked, I'm asking what your height and weight are. This Zuoling's mother's character was indeed peculiar. Was it normal to directly ask that kind of question? Shangguanxi subtly frowned and then replied, Mother, I'm 165 and weigh 98. A height of 165. And she weighs less than 100? That weight was not even half of Chen Libao's. Chen Liebao could probably pick up Shangguanxi with one hand. They say a fuller figure is better for bearing sons, but with Shangguanxi's frame, she might even have trouble conceiving, let alone having a son. In the 80s, it wasn't like later times. Plumpness was considered beautiful, indicating wealth in the family. A skinny appearance probably meant one couldn't fill their stomach. Zuoling's mother grew increasingly dissatisfied with Shangguanxi. Seeing that his mother's expression was turning sour, Zuoling quickly stood up and said, Mama, I'm hungry. Please start cooking. The moment she heard that her precious son was hungry, Zuoling's mother immediately stood up and went to the kitchen. Following Zuoling's pointed look, she continued, Xiaoxi, what do you like to eat? Shangguanxi smiled and said, I'm not picky, auntie, whatever you cook is fine. During this time, Shangguanxi offered to help Zuoling's mother, but was stopped by Zuoling. What a joke. If Zuoling's mother continued to speak those unpleasant words, what then? He and Shangguanxi were at a crucial moment right now. The raw rice wasn't yet cooked rice. Nothing could go wrong at this juncture. Zuoling not only stopped Shangguanxi's movements but also sweet-talked her. Xiaoxi, how can you, with your tender hands, do such work? Wait until we're married. We'll hire a nanny to let her take care of all the household chores. What girl doesn't like to hear sweet talk? Especially a girl who is deeply in love. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1023. Yang Yang got angry _4. Really? Shangguanxi asked with her face flushed. Yes, really, Zuoling nodded. About an hour later, was finally time to eat. The dishes were pretty good, consisting of 5 dishes and 1 soup, 2 meat and 3 vegetarian. But it was much worse compared to the last time Zuoling had visited the Ni family. But Shangguanxi could understand. After all, the Zuo family's conditions were no match for theirs. Zuo father warmly urged Shangguanxi to sit down and eat. Xiaoxi, don't be polite, just treat this as your own home. Thank you, uncle. Auntie, you've worked hard. Zuo mother couldn't be bothered to pay attention to Shangguanxi. Her son wasn't without prospects for a wife. She didn't feel the need to please Shangguanxi. Shangguanxi assumed Zuo mother was just eccentric and didn't mind. After dinner, Zuoling couldn't wait to take Shangguanxi back. Zuo mother took the gift Shangguanxi had brought. Xiaoxi, you're too polite bringing such expensive gifts to just visit. Please take them back. Zuo mother deliberately emphasized the word expensive. Who would crave such trivial items? Shangguanxi didn't catch the implied meaning from Zuo mother and smiled. It's nothing expensive, just some fruit. You don't have to be so polite. You take them back, continued Zuo mother. Take them back for the elders at home to enjoy. It must have been a long time since you've had meat in the village, right? Ah. Shangguanxi was stunned. Zuoling quickly took the items from Zuo mother's hands, smiling. Mom, why be so formal with Xiaoxi? Since she specifically bought them to show her respect, you should just accept them. Zuo mother looked at Zuoling with a face full of disappointment. That Shangguanxi, with a poor family background, couldn't even bear sons. She wondered what Zuoling saw in her. It was simply bewitchment. As soon as the two left, Zua mother's expression turned cold. What's this all about? Zua father asked curiously. Do you think she's worthy of our Lingling? Zua mother asked, pointing outside. Before meeting Shangguanxi, Zua father also thought she wasn't worthy of Zua Ling, but having seen her, he now thought Chen Liebao wasn't worthy of Zua Ling men, who wouldn't prefer someone beautiful. Chen Liebao looked like a pig and was unapproachable. Besides her poor family background, everything else is tolerable, the grandfather said. Tolerable? What can I say? You think her petite frame looks like she can bear sons? Zua mother angrily said. Do you want to see the Zua family lineage end with your son? Zua mother understood women well. Because she was too thin, she couldn't bear a son. Just have more children. Zua father wasn't concerned. Have more? It's easy for you to say. Zua mother poked Zua father's forehead. Do you think it's still our time? You could have as many as you want. Now, even if one of the couple is not a worker, you can only have 2. Then Zua mother continued. And look, what did she bring to our house? Compare it with what Liebao brings every time. And another thing, I was exhausted in the kitchen, and she didn't even offer to help. She really thinks she's some kind of precious lady. What good is having such a bride back home? Just to worship her as an ancestor? At this, Zua father nodded. It seems you do have a point. It is the point. Zua mother continued. Besides, after marrying Liebao, Lingling wouldn't have to worry if he doesn't work for the rest of his life. Marrying Shangguanxi, what can she offer him? Just a burden. Zua father, who was indecisive, was convinced by Zua mother in just a few sentences. Then when Lingling comes back, we'll talk to him about it. On the other side, Zua Ling brought Shangguanxi to the roadside. Shangguanxi said, Zua Ling, I feel like your aunt doesn't like me much. She wasn't foolish. Of course, she could see that Zua mother had issues with her. And they were not minor. Zua Ling chuckled. Don't overthink it. My mom is just like that. Didn't I tell you beforehand? Xiaoxi, in my heart, you've always been an empathetic and good girl. Are you going to let this cause a rift between us? Shangguanxi said. No, it's just that if this keeps up, there will definitely be conflicts between your aunt and me. As you know, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflicts have always been a major issue in families. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1024. Yang Angry _5. Zua Ling continued. Actually, I've thought about it long ago. After we get married, we'll move out and then visit our elders once a week. Nowadays, many young people do that. Xiaoxi, you're living your life with me, not with my mother. You really don't need to worry about these issues. Really? Shangguanxi looked up at Zua Ling. Of course it's true. Zua Ling nodded. I can swear to the heavens. With that, Zua Ling raised 3 fingers. Shangguanxi smiled and said, There's no need for oaths, I believe you, Zua Ling. You can't let me down. Xiaoxi, rest assured, I will never let you down. Great. Shangguanxi nodded. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. Anai had finished her exams at school, and it was time for winter break. It had been over 10 days. Wu Yinyan should have calmed down by now. Having nothing to do that day, Anai put on her woolen coat and prepared to drive to see Wu Yinyan. In such cold weather, Anai certainly didn't want to ride a bicycle there. She had bought this car not long ago. A domestic car, 30,000 yuan. It looked very ordinary on the outside, but the interior was impressively well equipped. The car was modified, with very high-end configurations. However, only those who knew cars would notice that. Anai was not a showy person, so she had bought a domestic car. Yang, where are you going? Anai had just put on her gloves when Anai Tsuehua came downstairs. I'm going to find Yin, Anai replied. Then I'll go with you? Anai Tsuehua suggested. Anai smiled slightly and declined. Mom, I should go alone. If Yin sees you, she might get emotional again. Don't worry, I will talk to her. Remembering the last experience, Anai Tsuehua sighed. Then go ahead, but if, she didn't know what to say next. Anai patted Anai Kuihua's shoulder. Mom, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. All right. Anai Tsuehua nodded. Then go early and come back early. Okay. Anai Tsuehua watched Anai Yang's car disappear from view before turning to go back inside. Yang Yang has gone? Old Lady Zheng came out of the house. Yes. Old Lady Zheng's gaze was distant. I hope Yin Yin can listen to Yang Yang's words. Anai Tsuehua nodded. In a little while, Anai Yang drove to the community where the Wu family lived. Coincidentally, as soon as she drove in, she saw Wu Yinyan sunbathing downstairs with Wu Xiaolong. Anai Yang slowly parked the car across the road from Wu Yinyan, got out, and walked over. Yinyan. Wu Yinyan looked up and saw Anai Yang, smiling with a light in her eyes. Anai Yang was wearing a goose yellow chong sam that day, covered by an off-white woolen coat, her black hair flowing down her back. Just like the first time she met Anai Yang. Anai Yang looked like an ethereal fairy, shining brightly. And her. She was just an unwanted wild girl, suffering the hardships of the world. Now Anai Yang even had a car. What did she have as sisters born of the same mother? After more than half a month, Anai Yang finally appeared. She had thought Anai Yang would never show up again. Yin Yin. Anai Yang called again. Wu Yinyan pretended not to hear Anai Yang's voice and lowered her head to play with Wu Xiaolong. However, Wu Erlong and Wu Dalong on the side excitedly ran over. Sister Anai Yang. Dalong Erlong. Anai Yang patted both brothers' heads. Wu Erlong complained. Sister Anai Yang am Erlong. Anai Yang apologized with a smile. Sorry Erlong, it was a slip of the tongue. Wu Erlong said. It's okay, it's okay. Oh, Sister Anai Yang, my big sister has been acting like she's sick these few days. She even lost her temper at Auntie Hua last time. Don't be mad at her later. Our teacher says not to argue with sick people. Anai Yang nodded. I understand, you two go play. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong ran off to play. Anai Yang approached Wu Yinyan. Yinyan. Wu Yinyan acted as if she didn't hear Anai Yang. Anai Yang's expression remained unchanged, and without getting angry, she spoke in a gentle tone. Yinyan, can we talk for a bit? Talk about what? Wu Yinyan looked up at Anai Yang, her eyes filled with heavy hostility. Anai Yang kept a smile in her eyes and spoke. Let's talk about our family's situation. I know you're angry and feel wronged, but Mom really was powerless back then. You haven't experienced it yourself. You don't know what that feeling of helplessness is like. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1025. Yang Yang got angry _6. Wu Yinyan looked at Anai Yang, her mouth curved in a mocking arch. That's your family, it has nothing to do with me. You don't need to tell me these things. I don't want to listen. That's your family too. My family. Wu Yinyan continued. A daughter born into a poor family like mine could never ascend to such a powerful, wealthy household. Yinyan. Why don't we find a place to cool off and talk over some drinks? If the person in front of her wasn't her own flesh and blood sister, Anai Yang would not have displayed such patience. Just go, I don't want to see you. From now on, our two families will have nothing to do with each other. It's best if we never interact again. Anai Yang frowned subtly, clearly noting that Wu Yanyan's words were in no way a joke. At the same time, Anai Yang knew what Wu Yanyan was upset about. She was simply envious upon seeing the Anai family's current good days, remembering the hardships she endured over the years, feeling the injustice. Yinyan, do you know what life was like for Mom and me before I turned 17? Wu Yinyan didn't say a word. Anai Yang continued. Mom was 9 months pregnant, not only enduring my grandmother and father's beatings, but also taking on all the dirty and tiring chores like an old ox. Yinyan is the 5th child. After she was born, when Grandma saw she was a girl, she immediately wanted to throw her to the wild dogs in the back hills. It was only my quick thinking that saved Yunyan. 3 days after Yunyan was born, my father's mistress, Li Shu, schemed to sell me to her relative for 1,000 yuan. Do you know what kind of person her relative was? He was a 50-something eunuch. Recalling that period, Anai Yang couldn't help but get teary-eyed, her vision blurred by tears. That past seemed like another lifetime. In her previous life, she had suffered for 10 years before escaping from that misery. No one knew how heart-wrenching that past was. No one knew what kind of torment she endured. Later, because I accidentally saved two influential nobles, with their help, Mom and I managed to get divorced smoothly, and we took Yunyan to Beijing. When we first arrived in Beijing, we had no place to stay until Aunt and I rented half of her courtyard to us. After settling in Beijing, I started a noodle business. Every morning at around 2, I would get up to prepare everything for the stall, more than 200 kilograms of liquids, all transported to the street on my bicycle. Whether it was windy or rainy, I never missed a day. Below every glamorous appearance lies a heart full of scar. Since coming to Beijing, Enai Yang never shared these experiences with anyone, because Enai Yang was never one to expose her scars and capitalize on others' sympathy. Wu Yinyan was the first. Later on, my noodle business improved, and I got my first storefront in Beijing, then a second. Mom might be the daughter of the Zheng family, but she was only recently acknowledged by my grandparents. Before that, our life was not any more comfortable than yours. At this point, Enai Yang looked up at Wu Yanyan. Yanyan, I hope you can let go of the hatred in your heart, forgive Mom, and forgive us just this once. Do you think playing the victim here is interesting? Wu Yanyan asked. Enai Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, a fleeting trace of scorn passing across her gaze. You think in playing the victim? It turned out that after saying so much, in Wu Yanyan's eyes, it amounted to just playing the victim. Isn't it? Wu Yanyan retorted. Who knew if what Enai Yang was saying was true? Based on Enai Yang alone, did she have the ability to bring Enai Tsuehua and little Enai Yun to Beijing? Based on Enai Yang alone, could she have achieved what she has today? She doesn't even think about how old she is this year. Did she really think herself a fool? Could she be so easily manipulated? She portrayed herself as so pitiful, simply to make herself believe her. This is what they owed her. Why should she believe her? Enai Yang, you clearly knew long ago that I was your sister, yet you kept it to yourself. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? Do you really think you're the only smart person in the world and everyone else is a fool? Enai Yang's face showed little emotion. Her gaze was chillingly cold. She had never imagined that one day she would stand opposite her own flesh and blood sister. Head-to-head confrontation. Until the paternity test results came out, I couldn't be sure you were my sister. Once the results were in, I informed Mom immediately. I can honestly say, I've done nothing to you that needs forgiveness. Wu Yinyan laughed softly. You always have your reasons. Do you really think those reasons can cover up your filthy heart? Let me tell you, Enai Yang, you, your mom, and your family don't ever expect to receive my forgiveness in this lifetime. I never want to see you again. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1026. The grumpy President Nini Yang was no saint, and she acknowledged she owed Wu Yanyan nothing. She had said all that needed to be said, and since Wu Yanyan did not understand her, and had even cast her as a villain beyond redemption, there was no need for her to humbly beg for Wu Yanyan's forgiveness. Enai Yang was never one to swallow her pride. She certainly had no masochistic tendencies. Are these words you spoke today truly from the heart? Enai Yang slightly lifted her gaze, her eyes tranquil and undisturbed. Wu Yanyan was stunned for a moment. She had never seen Enai Yang like this. She had thought Enai Yang would continue to plead with her, but instead Enai Yang was so calm, so eerily composed that it put a chill in Wu Yanyan's heart. They were only a year apart in age, but in that moment, Wu Yanyan felt as though she were standing before an elder. Why should Enai Yang stand before her with such an air of superiority? It was Enai Yang who owed her. Hadn't Enai Yang come to seek her out? Who begs with such an attitude? Ridiculous. Yes, Wu Yanyan said. Every word I've spoken today is a reflection of my true feelings. Enai Yang, I am not your sister and certainly don't have such a noble and graceful sister. Please, along with your mother and your so-called distinguished family members, stop coming to find me from now on. Are you sure you won't regret this? Yanyan, I owe you nothing, and even if Mom owed you something, it is settled now. Regardless, I hope you can calm down and seriously consider what I've said. Enai Yang's face was devoid of expression, her voice cool and indifferent. Yet Wu Yinyun trembled without feeling the cold, not even having the courage to glance at Enai Yang. Wu Yinyun swallowed hard. Yes. I have no regrets. Enai Yang, you haven't suffered my pains. You will never have the right to stand before me and pass judgment. The reason you can stand so high and mighty and criticize me from a moral high ground is because the person being discarded was me, not you. If you were in my shoes, you might not be as magnanimous as I am. If the person who had been discarded was Enai Yang, then it would be her shining brightly today. What right had Enai Yang to treat her this way? She would never regret it. She would never regret making a clean break with the Enai family. All right, I understand. Enai Yang nodded slightly, turned, and walked towards her car. Not an ounce of hesitation, nor a trace of sorrow on her face. Watching Enai Yang's retreating figure, Wu Yinyun suddenly felt an overwhelming sadness well up. Abandoned her. Her own sister had given up on her, just like she was thrown away 17 years ago. A mocking smile played on Wu Yinyun's lips. Enai Tsuehua had not shown her face since her last visit. Today, it was only Enai Yang who had come. They all claimed to be children of the Enai family, but not one of them sincerely wanted to acknowledge her as part of the family. False affection. Such family members were better off rejected. Enai Yang drove away. She had not expected this outcome. Wu Yinyun was, after all, her biological sister. To say that Enai Yang felt nothing would be a lie. But it wasn't to the point of being devastated. What to do when feeling down? According to President Enai, the answer was street racing. At this time, the roads in Beijing weren't as congested as in previous lifetimes, perfect for racing. Enai Yang gripped the steering wheel with both hands and floored the accelerator. Swift as the wind, the black sedan sped along. And when the adrenaline reached its peak, all worries and vexations were washed away. What a thrilling sensation! After driving for a while and feeling a bit hot, Enai Yang rolled down the left side window. The cold wind poured in, tossing her hair into disarray, creating a wildly beautiful chaos. Seeing the car ahead perform a spectacular drift, Wu Daming quickly pulled off to the side. My God! Who is that? They're driving like they're heading for the sky. Li Ronghua in the passenger seat also gazed ahead in amazement. It looks like the driver is a girl. A girl? Could a girl really be that good? It can't be a girl, right? Wu Daming watched the sedan disappearing into the horizon, and finally managed to say, It is a girl. I saw her hair flying out of the car. Li Ronghua looked disdainfully at Wu Daming. Wu Daming, you're really not up to snuff to be outdone by a girl. Wu Daming. In his life he had only been defeated by one girl, and that was Enai Yang. He hadn't expected to lose to another today. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1027. Grumpy Mr. Enai_2. He didn't know which girl was so revered. He wondered who was more formidable when compared to Enai Yang. After circling Sijio City, Enai Yang finally drove home. Everyone at home had gathered, apparently waiting for Enai Yang's results. Yang, Enai Quihua's eyes, originally dim, lit up instantly upon seeing Enai Yang. Mom. The house was heated by a stove, and Enai Yang casually took off his coat and placed it on the sofa. What did Yinyun say? Enai Tsuehua continued to ask. Enai Yang shook his head. Mom, you shouldn't go looking for her anymore. If Wu Yinyun hadn't disappointed Enai Yang, he wouldn't have said such a thing. This child, why was he so stubborn? Enai Quihua's eyes reddened instantly. Grandma Zheng sighed. I knew it would end like this. Ting, don't be too upset. Even without Yinyun, you still have Yang and little Yunyan. Grandpa Zheng said. Your mother is right. Since that child doesn't have a mother-daughter fate with you, some things can't be forced. If it weren't for a DNA test, Grandpa Zheng might even think there had been a mistake. Wu Yanyan's nature really didn't seem like it came from the Zheng family. Mom, don't be upset. Enai Yang took Enai Quihua's hand. Tell me honestly, when you and my grandparents went to see her before, did she also show them disdain? If Wu Yinyun showed disdain towards Enai Tsuehua, Enai Yang could understand her. If Wu Yinyun despised even the innocent elderly, Then Ni Yang could only say that Wu Yinyan was utterly heartless. Extremely heartless. Hearing this, Ni Tsuehua fell silent. It wasn't just disdain, but reflecting on this, Ni Tsuehua felt a bit guilty, remembering how her elderly parents had been hit by a younger person that day. Seeing Ni Tsuehua like this, Ni Yang knew what had happened. Mom, just forget this daughter from now on. And don't go looking for her anymore. If you don't listen, you will only embarrass yourself. Ni Tsuehua looked up at Ni Yang. Do you think Yin will understand when she's older? Wu Yin was still young this year. Maybe she would change in a few years? Before Ni Yang could speak, Shangguan Dahui said, Daya, have you forgotten how old Yang was when he brought you out of Dam Village? That year, Ni Yang was exactly 17 years old. Ni Yang was 17 years old, just like Wu Yin. The two 17-year-olds were worlds apart. Ni Tsuehua fell silent. Grandpa Zheng said, Ting Ting, let it be. We've tried our best, and we can be at peace with that. Grandpa Zheng himself also wished to bring back his stranded granddaughter. But this child really couldn't be helped. Children are predestined. Some things simply can't be forced. Ni Tsuehua nodded. So be it. In the first half of her life, she suffered so much due to poor judgment. In the second half, she didn't want to cause any conflicts with her close family over a daughter who had become estranged from her. Did she really have to abandon little Ni Yin? Break the mother-daughter relationship with Ni Yang? Impossible. Never possible. Grandma Zheng and Shangguan Shi went over to comfort Ni Tsuehua. Shangguan Shi had met Wu Yin. Her first impression of Wu Yin was that she was well-mannered and sensible. She didn't expect Wu Yin would do something so heart-wrenching. Quite unexpected. Fortunately, Ni Tsuehua wasn't the type to dwell on things, and after some persuasion from several people, her mood gradually stabilized. Wu Daming was driving Li Ronghua back home. As soon as the car reached the entrance of the village, he was stunned. When was this highway in your village built? You should know that more than half a year ago, Jinghua village still had dirt roads. During rainy days, it would be muddy and cars couldn't enter, but now there was such a spacious concrete road. Li Ronghua said with a smile. Yang paid for the construction. Sixth sister. Yes. Li Ronghua nodded. Sixth sister is really amazing. Wu Daming said enviously. Why can't our village have a capable person like sixth sister? Previously, Jinghua village had nothing, being the poorest among the villages in all directions. Since Ni Yang arrived, Jinghua village could be said to change every day. Now, if Jinghua village claimed to be number 1, which surrounding village would dare to claim to be number 2? If it wasn't seen with one's own eyes, no one would believe that Jinghua village could change so much in such a short time. Ni Yang was so amazing, and Li Ronghua was also proud. That's right. Yang is really our village's lucky star. Go around the village and ask from 70 to 80-year-olds to 2 to 3-year-olds, who doesn't like Yang? Even people from the neighboring villages were especially envious of Jinghua village. At that moment, as they drove past the Ni family's small courtyard, Li Ronghua suddenly sat up straight and looked out of the window. Slow down, slow down. What's wrong? Wu Daming was somewhat puzzled. Li Ronghua pointed to a small black car parked outside. Doesn't that car look familiar? Wu Daming squinted his eyes. It does seem a bit. After a moment of thought, Wu Daming continued. Isn't that car the one we just saw on the street? Damn. The person driving the car just now couldn't be Ni Yang, could it? Wu Daming swallowed his throat. Li Ronghua and Wu Daming thought of the same thing. The person who was driving just now was Yang, wasn't it? If that's really the case, sixth sister is too amazing. Wu Daming exclaimed. Li Ronghua looked at Wu Daming. Anyway, she's much more capable than you. Look at you, Wu Daming. You're not even as good as a girl. Aren't you embarrassed? Wu Daming said meaningfully. Then I'm still better than some who can't even drive. After speaking, Wu Daming added. Not only can't drive, but they're also fierce like a man. If any man marries her, he's really out of luck. Who are you talking about? Li Ronghua glared at Wu Daming menacingly. Wu Daming grinned and countered. I'm just talking about some girls, not you. Why are you so excited? Do you act like a man? Li Ronghua, unable to vent his frustration, glared fiercely at Wu Daming. Stop the car. Wu Daming didn't hear her properly. Li Ronghua raised his voice and yelled, "I told you to stop the car." Deafening. Wu Daming shuddered and immediately hit the brakes. What's wrong? I want to get out." Li Ronghua grabbed her backpack, got out of the car, and slammed the door shut. Wu Daming scratched his head innocently. "This person is really sick." Li Ronghua, who hadn't walked far, turned to look at him, her face gentle. "What did you say?" Wu Daming looked up at the sky and said earnestly, "I said the weather today is really nice." Li Ronghua gave him a look and then walked ahead. Wu Daming stretched his neck. "Comrade Li Ronghua, are you sure you don't want me to drive you?" Li Ronghua, without turning back, waved her hand. "No need." Wu Daming had no choice but to turn the car around, preparing to go back. Beep beep beep. Just then the right side window was knocked on. Wu Daming rolled down the window, revealing a face as beautiful as a painting, sixth sister. And Yang smiled and said, "Wu Daming, what brought you here?" Wu Daming replied, "It's all because I had to drive that tomboy back." Tomboy? And Yang raised an eyebrow slightly. "Who?" Wu Daming looked back and whispered very softly, "That tomboy Li Ronghua." If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1028. This is the gap. So, Wu Daming was talking about Li Ronghua. And Yang laughed and said, "Sister Ronghua is pretty good, isn't she? Where does she look like a tomboy?" Wu Daming looked at Yang as if he saw a monster. "Even like this, she doesn't look like a tomboy?" And Yang said, "Look how good Sister Ronghua is. She's tall, has good looks, a job, and even a high salary. Her personality isn't bad either. She's loving towards her brother and respectful to her parents. For a girl to be like her is already quite remarkable." Compared to other women her age, Li Ronghua really stood out. She had everything that one could ask for, and didn't lose to anyone else. Wu Daming scratched his head. "Sixth sister-in-law, you're so close to her, of course, you would speak on her behalf." How come he never noticed all of Li Ronghua's good qualities? To him, Li Ronghua always looked like a tomboy, the kind that can't get married. And Yang, smiling, said, "I'm just speaking the truth. Oh, by the way, do you want to come over to my place?" Wu Daming waved his hands. No, I've got other things to do." "Oh right, sixth sister-in-law. The sixth brother will be back in a couple of days." And Yang nodded. "I know." "How do you know?" Wu Daming looked surprised. And Yang said, "He's in Sea City, not abroad. We talk on the phone every day." Oh. As they were speaking, Wu Daming seemed to remember something, then said, "Sixth sister-in-law, is that your car?" "Yeah." Wu Daming continued, "Sixth sister-in-law, you must be really skilled at driving, right?" By the end his eyes were gleaming. And Yang modestly said, "Of course, how else would I be your sixth sister-in-law?" Wu Daming, full of admiration, said, "Sixth sister-in-law, you're so amazing. I knew it must have been you I saw on the street that time." Now he finally understood why Imo-chishan fell for Yang. "You saw me on the street?" Yang was somewhat surprised. Wu Daming nodded. "Yeah, I saw your car nearly flying." Thinking about that scene still made his heart race and his blood boil. "Keep it low-key." And Yang, smiling, patted Wu Daming's shoulder. At that moment, Shang Guansu stood on the second-floor balcony and called out to Yang, Yang, you've got a phone call." "Oh, coming." And Yang turned to Wu Daming and said, "Oh, go back inside then. If you have time, come over to my place with Brother Mo." "Sure." Wu Daming nodded. And Yang went inside to answer the phone. It was Li Tong who had called. She simply wanted to meet up with Yang to buy a few more boxes of the limited edition Ice Jade Skin. And Yang readily agreed to meet Li Tong. They agreed to meet the next morning. Shang Guanxi came over from the other side, curiously asking, Yang, who was that?" And Yang replied, "A new friend I just met. She's looking to buy some Ice Jade Skin from me." "Oh." Shang Guanxi nodded. The next morning, just as Yang was about to leave, two unexpected guests arrived at her home. It was Lu Qi and Lu Ru. Yang, are your uncle and aunt at home?" Although Yang had some small issues with Lu Ru, Lu Qi's character was really beyond reproach, so she nodded. My mom is at home, I'll take you inside. As visitors came, after entering the house, Anna Yang went to pour water for the siblings. Thank you, said Lu Ru, accepting the glass and taking the initiative to thank her. Anna Yang looked at Lu Ru with some surprise. You're welcome. Time really is a wonderful thing. It could even polish a haughty young miss into this. You could tell that Lu Ru had indeed changed a lot. In fact, after all these experiences, Lu Ru had definitely grown up. Looking back, it all felt like a dream. If time could start over, she would definitely not covet those things that didn't belong to her. She would be down to earth. Anai Tsuehua came downstairs and was surprised to see the siblings. Lu Qi and Lu Ru stood up from the sofa to greet her actively. Auntie. Anai Tsuehua said with a smile, have a seat, what brings you two here? She had thought that these siblings would have left for Taiwan Island long ago. Lu Qi said, Auntie, my sister and I are preparing to go back to Taiwan Island, so we specially came over to tell you. This would probably be his last time seeing the Anai family and Anai Yang. Since it was his mother who had wronged Anai Tsuehua, he felt it was only right to speak to Anai Tsuehua before leaving. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1029. This is the gap _2. Sorry not to live up to my own conscience. Anai Tsuehua was stunned. What about your parents? Lu Qi said, they have also been transferred to the prison on Taiwan Island. Anai Tsuehua nodded. Are you flying out? Yes, on the flight tonight, Lu Qi answered. Then I wish you a smooth journey. Auntie, thank you. Lu Qi and Lu Ru both stood up and bowed to Anai Tsuehua. After speaking with Anai Tsuehua about this matter, the siblings said their goodbyes. Anai Tsuehua and Anai Yin saw them out to the door. As they stepped out of the Anai family's courtyard, Zhao Shuiwa arrived. Zhao Shuiwa was carrying a bag of things. Auntie. Zhao Shuiwa nodded and stuffed the things in her hand into Lu Qi's hands. Take this with you to eat on the way. Inside was a pastry Zhao Shuiwa had made herself. Lu Qi had especially loved these pastries the first time he visited Zhao Shuyu's home. Auntie, thank you. Zhao Shuiwa sighed. Xiaoqi, your parents are your parents, you are you. After returning to Taiwan Island, forget the things of Beijing and start a new life with Xiaoru. Okay. Lu Qi nodded. Auntie, you also take good care of yourself. I will, off you go. Auntie, goodbye. Zhao Shuiwa waved to the siblings. The siblings glanced back at Zhao Shuyu's stooping figure, their eyes slightly reddened. Especially Lu Ru. She now regretted her past behavior immensely. It was her fault. She owed Zhao Shuiwa an apology. After Lu Qi and Lu Ru left, Anai Yin drove to the place arranged with Li Tong. Seeing Anai Yin get out of a small sedan, Li Tong exclaimed in surprise. Anai Yin, you can drive? Anai Yin nodded. That's really amazing. Li Tong continued. How did you learn? It took me over a month just to learn to ride a bicycle. How long did you take to learn this? Anai Yin smiled. It's easier than a bicycle. Really? Li Tong expressed skepticism. Anai Yin nodded. Really? Li Tong thought to herself that when she had money, she would also buy a small car to drive. But the day when she would have money seemed not too far off. The effects of were extremely good. The elders in the family were very happy, and Li Tong was also excited. Right, hey, race the you wanted. Anai Yin took out 3 boxes of from the passenger seat and handed them to Li Tong. Thank you, Anai Yin. Seeing the Li Tong's eyes lit up. These were limited edition versions of impossible to buy in the market. It was because Anai Yin was kind and willing to do her this favor. You're welcome. Anai Yin smiled slightly. Li Tong then said, it's also time for lunch. Let me treat you to lunch. Then I won't be polite. Don't be polite with me. We are friends after all. Li Tong took Anai Yin to a restaurant, and the two chatted and ate, getting along splendidly. Elsewhere, at Yihua University, ever since using, Zhang Qiuying's skin had just gotten better and better. Now Wang Lisha was becoming restless. Since her skin was somewhat similar to Zhang Qiuying's, both dry, and both prone to flaking in the winter. Seeing Zhang Qiuying's skin becoming increasingly hydrated while her own was drying out, flaking worse, how could she not be distressed? After much inquiring, she finally found a physical store selling and bought facial cleanser and aloe vera gel back, but she hadn't managed to get the best-selling whitening and moisturizing cream. After using the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel for only 2 days, the flakiness of Wang Lisha's skin had improved a lot. Wang Lisha, looking at herself in the mirror, was very happy, but the thought of not managing to buy the whitening moisturizer made her smile fade. If the normal facial cleanser and aloe gel could have such good results, then the limited edition could only be better. One look at Zhang Qiuying was proof enough. Zhang Qiuying's skin now is more than 10 times better than hers. She isn't any less attractive than Zhang Qiuying. If she could use the limited edition products, she would surely be even more beautiful. Just then, footsteps sounded from outside. Ah, Wang Lisha. I was wondering why your skin has been getting better these past few days. It turns out you've been sneakily using the Ice Jade skin cream. I remember just a few days ago, certain people were saying that the Ice Jade skin cream would ruin your face. So, does your face hurt now? Because she was afraid of being mocked by Zhang Qiuying, Wang Lisha had been secretly using the Ice Jade skin cream. Now that Zhang Qiuying had seen her, there was no need to hide it anymore. What? Is the Ice Jade skin cream your family's property? Are you the only one allowed to use it? Wang Lisha retorted. Wang Lisha had regrets as well. If she had known how great the Ice Jade skin cream was, she wouldn't have fallen out with Zhang Qiuying so badly. Zhang Qiuying smiled and said, Miss Wang, I have to say your face is exceptionally thick. If I were you, even at the risk of death, I wouldn't use the Ice Jade skin cream. Wang Lisha wanted to respond with sarcasm, but remembering that she still needed something from Zhang Qiuying, her attitude softened. Mind your own business. After speaking, Wang Lisha picked up a box of cookies and handed it to Zhang Qiuying. These are from my mom, sent over from our side. You can't buy them in Beijing. Zhang Qiuying looked at Wang Lisha strangely. Are you sick? Wang Lisha didn't respond. Instead, she grabbed another box of cookies and stuffed it into Li Huilan's arms. Here, this is for you. Li Huilan was just as surprised by Wang Lisha's actions. Zhang Qiuying continued. Wang Lisha, you didn't put poison in the cookies, did you? Take it or leave it. Wang Lisha glanced at Zhang Qiuying. I'm off to the cafeteria. Watching Wang Lisha's retreating figure, Zhang Qiuying wondered to herself. Am I dreaming? Could Wang Lisha actually be this nice? Something doesn't feel right. Li Huilan said. I also feel she's acting a bit off today. Zhang Qiuying's eyes fell on the Ice Jade skin cream nearby. Smiling, she said, I think I know what's going on. What is it? Li Huilan asked curiously. Zhang Qiuying said, I'll keep it a secret for now. You'll find out in a few days. Today was the day Mo Qishan returned. Enai Yang had arranged on the phone with Mo Qishan last night to go eat Japanese food together today. After their meal, the two strolled through the streets of Beijing, getting ready to buy movie tickets at the cinema. Wu Yanyan has been in a very bad mood these past few days. Because for several days, the Enai family hadn't sought her out again. She had an intuition that the Enai family might have genuinely given up on her as their daughter, even though she had always refused to acknowledge the Enai family. But now that the Enai family didn't come to claim her, she felt empty inside, a strange and uncomfortable sensation. She wondered if Enai Tsuehua had ever truly considered her a biological daughter? If Enai Tsuehua had, would she not come to claim her now? Aren't they mother and daughter? Perhaps she could never measure up to Enai Yang and little Enai Yin and Enai Kuihua's heart. That was the difference. If they didn't acknowledge her, then so be it. Without the Enai family, she could still live well. She was determined to make everyone take notice. Wu Yanyan heaved a deep sigh. Preoccupied, Wu Yanyan didn't notice a car speeding close by. By the time Wu Yanyan realized, the car was already about to hit her. Her face turned pale in an instant. At that moment, someone grasped her arm, and with a strong pull, she was yanked away. The car narrowly missed her by inches. It was incredibly dangerous. Are you okay? A concerned voice came from above her. Wu Yanyan let out a sigh of relief, feeling an exhilarating sense of having narrowly escaped death. That was close. She was nearly hit by the car. She should thank her savior properly. Wu Yinyan looked up, and her smile froze on her lips. Why is it you? Could it be that Anai Yang arranged for the car? Definitely Anai Yang. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1030. Sisterhood Broken. All of this was orchestrated by Anai Yang. Did Anai Yang really think she could use such despicable means to make herself feel grateful, to forgive her? Did she think she was so easy to deceive? She wasn't a 3-year-old child. I don't need your help. Wu Yinyan pushed Anai Yang away. Anai Yang, stop with your fake kindness here. Don't think I don't know what you're really thinking. Who are you putting on this show for? You really make me sick. Anai Yang didn't fight back and just watched Wu Yinyan, a layer of desolation welling up inside her. Saving Wu Yinyan was no accident. No matter what, this person was her own sister. And she couldn't remain indifferent and let Wu Yinyan die right there. If she had still held a sliver of hope for this sister before, now, she was thoroughly disappointed in her. Mo Qishan slightly furrowed his brow. Anai Yang had already told him about Wu Yanyan's situation over the phone. Although he had long known that Wu Yinyan refused to acknowledge the Anai family, he hadn't expected her to be this excessive. If it hadn't been for Anai Yang just now, who knows what state she would be in if that small sedan had hit her. And now she's treating Anai Yang like this. Anai Yang might tolerate it, seeing Wu Yinyan as her sister, but he couldn't. Who do you think you are? Mo Qishan grabbed Wu Yanyan's wrist. If it weren't for Yang Yang, could you be living like this now? You're ungrateful. Neither Anai Yang nor Anai Tsuehua had ever cursed at her like this. Wu Yinyan was stunned, looking incredulously at Mo Qishan. She was the one who had been abandoned, so how could she be the ungrateful one? It was Anai Tsuehua and Anai Yang who had wronged her. What right did Mo Qishan have to blame her? Just because he was Anai Yang's boyfriend? Because he was Anai Yang's boyfriend, could Mo Qishan just ignore the facts? Mo Qishan looked at Wu Yinyan with a very cold expression. Even Anai Yang had never seen such a side of Mo Qishan. His lips were tightly pursed, his cold features seemed to be covered with an impenetrable layer of thin ice, and he exuded a violent air that was vastly different from his usual gentle demeanor. Wu Yinyan, ask yourself, if it weren't for Yang Yang, could you live as comfortably as you do now? Your family's house belongs to Yang Yang. Your father's company was funded by Yang Yang's money. Even your life was saved by Yang Yang. Think about it. How many times has Yang Yang saved you? What right do you have to yell at Yang Yang? The kind of person Mo Qishan hated most in his life was an ungrateful one like Wu Yinyan. If Wu Yinyan weren't Anai Yang's sister, Mo Qishan wouldn't have this kind of patience. But he had to give Anai Yang some face. She owes me. Wu Yinyan choked out. Yang Yang owes you? What does she owe you? As your older sister, she owes you nothing. Mo Qishan continued. If anything, it's you who owes Yang Yang. Think about it yourself. Everything you eat, use and wear, isn't it all because of Yang Yang? Wu Yinyan, if you truly have any pride, then from today on, stop using anything that belongs to Yang Yang. Without Anai Yang's help, what was Wu Yinyan? She wouldn't even be able to attend school. Rest assured, I will never use anything of Anai Yang's again. Wu Yinyan turned to look at Anai Yang. They were all forcing her. All of them. And it wasn't even her fault to begin with. Why were they treating her like this? You'd better remember your words today. Mo Qishan released Wu Yinyan without any mercy. His voice was even colder than ice. Due to the sudden force, Wu Yinyan fell hard to the ground, feeling a sharp pain shoot through her palm as it made contact with the floor. Just then, a dark shadow enveloped Wu Yinyan. She looked up. It was Anai Yang. What did she want to do? Mock her with a few taunting words? Wu Yinyan bit her lip, her eyes filled with resentment. Anai Yang looked down at Wu Yinyan from above, and took a white pearl bracelet off her hand. Now that it's come to this, the sisterly bond between us is also over. As she finished speaking, the pearl necklace slid from Anai Yang's hand to the ground. Snap! The thread broke upon hitting the floor. White pearls scattered all over. In that moment, Wu Yanyan's tears surged forth, just like these beads that had broken off their string. That pearl bracelet was what she had bought with her first month's salary as a gift for Na Yang. It wasn't expensive. Just 5 yuan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1031. Sisterhood ends. Underscore 2. But the significance of this was immense. At that time, she didn't know that Na Yang was her sister. At that time, they were as close as sisters. Even after the last major fallout, Na Yang didn't take off the bracelet. But this time, Wu Yanyan couldn't quite describe how she felt. Was she the one who was wrong? But it clearly wasn't her fault. Was being discarded also a mistake? Let's go, said Mo Qishan as he took Na Yang's hand, but in an instant, he reverted to his usual cheerful demeanor. It's as if the man radiating hostility was nothing but an illusion. Wu Yanyan watched their retreating backs, unable to get up from the ground for a long time. Na Yang. Wu Yanyan shouted. What are you worth without the Zheng family? If the one thrown away were you, I would be you now. You're mistaken. Na Yang glanced back slightly. Without the Zheng family, I would still be me. And if the one thrown away were me and not you, then you wouldn't necessarily be you. Everything Na Yang had was earned through her own abilities. She had never relied on anyone. Even in her previous life, when she became the famous entrepreneur Miss Ni, she never depended on anybody. The word rely wasn't in her dictionary. Considering Wu Yanyan's current situation, she might not have the fortitude that Na Yang possessed. Compared to me, you're living in paradise. Compared to Na Yang, Wu Yanyan was incredibly fortunate. At least she had parents who loved her, and in times of turmoil, a sister to protect her. Yet she failed to cherish it. In a past life, when Na Yang was deep in the mire, she wished dearly for a benefactor to reach down and pull her up. But there were none. It took her a full 10 years to climb to a future of success. Wu Yanyan had no right to speak of fairness now. Having said that, Na Yang walked away, arm in arm with Mo Qishan. Wu Yanyan lay on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Yanyan. Just then, a familiar voice sounded overhead. Sister Jiao Jiao? Wu Yanyan's voice was hoarse. Du Jiao Jiao quickly helped Wu Yanyan to her feet. What happened? Who bullied you? Nothing. Wu Yanyan hastily wiped away her tears. I just fell down by accident. In her panic, Wu Yanyan glanced behind Du Jiao Jiao. Thank goodness. Thank goodness Grandfather Du wasn't there. If Grandfather Du saw her in such a wretched state, she wouldn't have the face to see him again. Du Jiao Jiao continued. Are you really okay? Oh, I was about to go find Yang Yang. Do you want to come with me? Wu Yanyan's expression darkened momentarily, shaking her head. I have something else to do, so I won't go. Oh, nodded Du Jiao Jiao. But are you really okay? Seeing Wu Yanyan in such an unusual state, Du Jiao Jiao was a bit worried. I'm really fine. Wu Yanyan looked at Du Jiao Jiao adding, Sister Jiao Jiao, Na Yang is two-faced and isn't worth getting close to. Be careful not to be deceived by her. After saying that, Wu Yanyan turned and walked away. Du Jiao Jiao stared at Wu Yanyan's retreating figure, taking a moment to process the situation. What was going on? Hadn't Wu Yanyan and Na Yang been on good terms before? Why was she suddenly speaking ill of Na Yang now? Did Na Yang do something to betray her? But Na Yang wasn't that kind of person. How strange. Burdened with doubts, Du Jiao Jiao continued to walk forward. After Wu Yanyan returned home, she planned to sort out all the things Na Yang had given her. But as she was sorting, she realized that almost everything in the house was from Na Yang. Clothes, review materials, backpacks. Even the house was Na Yang's. It seemed that the only option was to pay Na Yang back. When Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu got back, Wu Yanyan said, Mom and Dad, can you give me some money? I need to pay Na Yang back. Yan Erju said, Xiaoyan Yang is your sister. How can you call her by her full name? When did you ever borrow money from Yang? She is not my sister. I've made that clear to her today. From now on, our family will keep our distance from her, and I will no longer use anything from Na Yang. And yes, let's not live in her house anymore either. Let's move out. Have you lost your mind? Yan Erju frowned and said, Everything our family has now was given by Yang Yang. Do you think you can repay that so easily? Do you know how much you're hurting her feelings? Yen Erju truly hadn't expected Wu Yinyan to change like this. This daughter had become almost unrecognizable to her. Wu Yinyan wasn't like this before. Wu Yinyan retorted. Why can't it be repaid? Isn't our family construction company making a lot of money now? Can't we just pay Anayang back? At worst, repay tenfold. As far as she knew, the construction company was making thousands a month, and in good times, it could make 10,000. The Wu family was certainly not short of money now. Although Anayang had bought her many things, if the items couldn't be returned, paying back the money would suffice. It was precisely because of this that Wu Yinyan felt so confident in front of Anayang. If it weren't for Yang Yang's financial support, could our construction company have even started? Wu Jinshu couldn't stand it any longer. Don't forget who helped you get where you are. Xiaoyan, we have to have a conscience as human beings. Paying back the money is easy, but what about the kindness? This favor couldn't fully be repaid. Without Anai Yang's guidance and help, Wu Jinshu's construction company would not have been able to make any money, even if it had been established. Wu Yinyan was an honest person, and he was well aware of his own limitations. Yen Erju continued. If you truly want to sever ties with Yang Yang, then go be a stepmother to Wu Chang's 2 children right now. Then we can go live in that dilapidated little house. You must have forgotten about the hard times after living so well for too long. Wu Yanyan's mind went boom. She couldn't understand why everyone was speaking up for Anai Yang. Even her adoptive parents were the same. Was it just because Anai Yang had money that everyone was trying to curry favor with her? Or was it because she wasn't their biological child, so they didn't really care about her? Wu Yinyan felt her life was like a joke. She had always been living in deception. Seeing Wu Yinyan like this, Yen Erju sighed. Xiaoyan, stop being so stubborn. Yang Yang is a sister that's hard to come by. You should treasure her. Listen to your mother. The bond between sisters only comes once. There is no next life. Does she deserve to be a sister? Why does everyone take her side? Just because she has money, because I am not your biological child? Wu Yinyan turned to look at Yen Erju. Yen Erju was stunned, her eyes reddening as she looked at Wu Yinyan. She had always treated Wu Yinyan as her own daughter, and never expected Wu Yinyan to say such a thing. What are you saying? Your mother has been so good to you. When did she ever not treat you as her own? Wu Jinshu also got angry because of Wu Yanyan's words. I am your daughter. Why do you always speak for Anai Yang? If you like Anai Yang so much, why did you pick me up in the first place? Go acknowledge Anai Yang as your daughter. Rather than enduring these pains, it would have been better if they'd let her die back then. Why let her live like this? Wu Yinyan, too angry to care, was just saying things she found satisfying and didn't realize how hurtful her words were. Yen Erju looked at Wu Yinyan, and tears flowed down like rain. 17 years ago, when Wu Yinyan was picked up, she had been so tiny. A baby fusses at night in the first month and needs to be fed several times. She didn't have breast milk, so in the dead of winter, she had to get up to feed her several times each night. It was not easy for her to raise the baby. She could never have imagined that one day Wu Yinyan would blame her for having picked her up in the first place. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1032. What is upbringing? Yen Erju looked at Wu Yinyan and just felt that her daughter was excessively strange. Very strange. Wu Jinshu realized something was off in the atmosphere and frowned as he spoke. Yinyan, what nonsense are you talking about? She is your mother. Without her, there'd be no you. Even if you're angry, you can't talk to your mother like that. Dad, do you think you're not biased? Wu Yinyan said, her eyes brimming with tears as she looked at Wu Jinshu. You actually like Anai Yang too, right? In your heart, you wish Anai Yang was your daughter. Yes, how can someone as unsuccessful as me be fit to be your daughter? I'm sorry. I've disgraced you. Since you don't like me, you shouldn't have let her pick me up in the first place. Wu Yinyan had truly had enough. These past days, she had been living in Anai Yang's shadow. Everyone had been telling her to forgive Anai Yang, to forgive the Ni family. If she didn't, she would be seen as an ingrate. But had they ever considered that she was the victim? They had no right to accuse her. Wu Jinshu took a deep breath. After all, he was a man, so his endurance was much better than Wu Yanyan's. Yanyan, you're still young. When you grow older and have children of your own, when you become a parent, then you will know how difficult it is to raise a child. Go back to your room. You still have school tomorrow. Get some rest early tonight. Urju, let's go back to our room too. Wu Jinshu took Yan Urju's hand and walked back inside the house. If the standoff continued, the conflict would roll on like a snowball, growing larger and larger. Children are irrational. Parents cannot afford to be irrational as well. Urju, let's go. Wu Jinshu pulled Yan Urju back into the room and closed the door. Yan Urju lay on the bed, sobbing deep and muffled cries. For Wu Yanyan, in her younger days, she had endured so much from her mother-in-law. But now Wu Yanyan was treating her like this. No one could understand the sourness in her heart. Wu Jinshu consoled her. Urju, let it be. She's just a child who hasn't grown up yet. Just give it a few years, she will be fine. Why are you getting angry with your own child? Look at me, I'm not angry at all. Actually, our Yanyan is very sensible. It's just that she's a bit confused at the moment. Everyone has impulsive moments. She didn't do it on purpose. Yan Urju was speechless, her shoulders trembling. Is being non-biological really that significant? How could this child say such things to her? Yan Urju was not angry. She was heartbroken. Wu Jinshu continued. Urju, let it go. Yanyan didn't mean it, don't be upset. It took quite some time before Yan Urju stopped crying. Only then did Wu Jinshu breathe a sigh of relief. Urju, you sleep first, I'll go check on Yanyan. As a father and the man of the house, at times like this, he could only act as the peacemaker, comforting both sides. A harmonious family leads to prosperity in all things. Yan Urju nodded. Go ahead. Wu Yanyan wasn't doing much better, lying with her face down at the desk, weeping quietly. She felt the world was truly unfair. Even if she had not been the Wu family's biological child before, at least, her adoptive parents had treated her like their own. But now they had changed. They had become strangers to her. Today, if she was their biological child, they definitely wouldn't treat her like this. Yanyan. There came a knock at the door. Wu Yanyan sniffed and ignored Wu Jinshu outside. Wu Jinshu continued, Yanyan, I'm coming in. After a few seconds, Wu Jinshu pushed the door open from the outside. Wu Yanyan acted as if she hadn't heard these noises. Wu Jinshu brought a small stool over and sat next to Wu Yanyan. Yanyan, I've washed an apple for you. Do you want to eat one? Wu Yanyan said nothing. Wu Jinshu went on. Yanyan, I know you have difficulties and grievances, but you're not the only one in pain. Whether it's Yang Yang or Yang Yang's mom, they have their own hardships. Born in a tough time, everyone had no choice. Saying this, Wu Jinshu sighed. If you don't want to forgive them, your mom and I won't force you. But child, we cannot be people without conscience. Think about it carefully. Should you really treat your mom with that attitude tonight? No matter what, she is the person who raised you single-handedly. Without her, you wouldn't be here. Perhaps it was this sentence that struck a nerve in Wu Yanyan, as she suddenly looked up at Wu Jinshu. But I never begged you to raise me. Growing up, Wu Yanyan had never once resented her family situation, because she knew how hard it was for her parents to raise her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1033. What is upbringing? Under 42. But now her parents had suddenly changed. If she had known this would happen, Yan Urju might as well not have picked her up and brought her home in the first place. Then she wouldn't have had to suffer like this. Maybe someone better off would have taken her in. Then she wouldn't have met Ni Yang and endured all this pain. Yanyan, you are my daughter and I am your father, so I won't get angry if you say these things to me. But it's different with your mom. You've been raised by your mom since you were a baby, through all the filth and mess. How would you feel if, as a mother, you heard that the child you've raised from birth spoke of you this way? If you were in her shoes, would you be sad? Think about it. Has your mom ever treated you badly? At this point, Wu Jinshu paused before continuing. Your mom didn't say anything bad. She just doesn't want to see you regret it later on. I won't regret it. I will never forgive the Ni family in my life. There was no point in further persuasion at this juncture. Wu Jinshu said. As long as you don't regret it, that's fine. Otherwise, when you grow up and think back on today, you might blame your mom and me for not having advised you. Wu Yinyan sniffled and remained silent. Wu Jinshu went on. Go and apologize to your mom. She's had a tough time. Okay, I understand. Wu Yinyan stood up and walked toward the master bedroom. Inside the master bedroom, Yin Erju's emotions had mostly stabilized, but her eyes were still red. Mom, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way just now. Yin Erju lifted her head to look at Wu Yinyan, watching her daughter who was gradually growing up, and felt her nose twinge, nearly on the verge of tears again. Having said this, Wu Yinyan turned and walked towards the door. Wu Jinshu came in from the side. Forget it, Erju. Since the child has apologized, let's not be angry. Yin Erju choked up and spoke. I'm not angry. The next day, Yin Erju and Wu Jinshu prepared to visit the Ni family. Having said those things to them the day before, Wu Yinyan must have said even harsher words to Ni Yang and the rest. No matter what, they couldn't let the Ni family feel disheartened. Although Wu Yinyan had made it clear that she did not recognize the Ni family, their attitude remained as cordial as ever. Ni Tsuehua immediately made tea for them. Yang Yang's mom, Yang Yang, we've not raised our child well, and we owe you an apology. Both husband and wife felt extremely guilty. Ni Yang brought out fruit and placed it on the coffee table. Godfather, godmother, I know this isn't your fault. Even though Yinyan refuses to acknowledge us, you two are still my godparents. This matter didn't involve Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju. This couple was truly exceptional. Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju had never expected Ni Yang to still be willing to call them godparents. They felt a complex mix of emotions. What does it mean to be well-bred? Perhaps this was it. Although Ni Yang and Wu Yinyan were blood sisters, the difference between them was more than just a little. Yang Yang, thank you. Yin Erju held Ni Yang's hand, her nose slightly tingling. Ni Yang smiled faintly. Godmother, we should be the ones thanking you for raising Yinyan to adulthood. The visit to the Ni family left the couple with many emotions. Back at home, Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju instructed Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. No matter whom they forgot in the future, even if they disrespected their own parents, they must never forget Ni Yang. Ni Yang had shown great kindness to their family. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong nodded. Mom and Dad, don't worry, Erlong and I would never be as heartless as our elder sister. Meanwhile, at the Ni family's small courtyard, Sheng Guanxi was carrying a bag, rushing indoors. She was hurrying and failed to notice a banana peel on the ground. Just as she was about to step on it, Ni Yang came from the opposite side and gently kicked it into a nearby trash can. Sheng Guanxi gave a thumbs up. Yang Yang, you could go play soccer with skills like that. Ni Yang laughed. I might just give it a try tomorrow. By the way, Sister Xiaoxi, why are you in such a hurry? Sheng Guanxi said. I'm going back home to change clothes. I have things to do later. How about I give you a ride on my way out? Offered Ni Yang. Sure, Sheng Guanxi nodded. Then I'll go change right now. Before long, Sheng Guanxi came downstairs, changed into a pink down jacket, and had even applied lipstick, looking much prettier than usual. A fair lady is a gentleman's good match. Ni Yang teased. Sister Xiaoxi is dressed up so beautifully, are you going on a date? A blush quietly crept onto Sheng Guanxi's face. Are you really going on a date? Ni Yang asked. Aha, Sheng Guanxi nodded. Ni Yang continued. Is your date with Zuoling? Sheng Guanxi nodded again. Sheng Guan had thought that Ni Yang would definitely try to persuade her not to be with Zuoling, but Ni Yang didn't say much. She neatly fastened her seatbelt, started the engine and drove away. Yang Yang, aren't you going to advise me against being with Zuoling anymore? Ni Yang smiled and looked back. If I advised you, would you listen? Sheng Guanxi shook her head. Ni Yang went on. Since you wouldn't listen to me, there's no use in me saying more. Besides, I've always said that a fox will eventually reveal its tail. and Na Young now had a better way to make Zhuoling show his true colors. There was no use in saying more. Zhuoling is not a fox at all, Shangguan, she claimed. And Na Young smiled slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, have you only been in love once? Shangguan, she exclaimed in surprise. Yang, how did you know? Zhuoling was her first love, and she was his. And Na Yang said, I can tell. Mainly because you're too naive, Sister Xiaoxi. Anyone with a bit more experience in love wouldn't be like you. Shangguan, she responded speechlessly. Yang, you're several years younger than me. You talk as if you've been in many relationships. The car was fast, and it didn't take long to arrive downtown. You can stop here, Shangguan, she said. And Na Yang pulled over to the curb. Shangguan, she opened the door and waved at Na Yang. See you, Yang. And Na Yang followed up. When will you return tonight, Sister Xiaoxi? I'll come to pick you up. Shangguan, she waved her hand. No need, I'll take the bus back. After separating from Na Yang, Shangguan, she arrived at the cafe where she and Zhuoling had agreed to meet. By the time she arrived, Zhuoling was already there. Zhuoling was a very attentive person and very conscious of time. He never arrived late for a date, only early. Shangguan, she really liked this about him. Xiaoxi, you're here, Zhuoling said as he immediately stood up from the sofa. Have you been waiting long? Shangguan, she asked somewhat embarrassedly. Zhuoling shook his head. No, I just got here. As he spoke, he handed the menu to Shangguan Shi. Choose whatever you like, Xiaoxi. Shangguan Shi took the menu. I'll have a caramel macchiato. What about you? I'll have the same as you, Zhuoling said. In fact, Zhuoling didn't really like these kinds of drinks. He was just deliberately accommodating Shangguan Shi to create more common topics of conversation. Shangguan Shi nodded. Waiter, 2 caramel macchiatos, please. Sure, please wait a moment. After finishing their coffee, the two went to watch a movie. While buying tickets, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Shangguan Xiaoxi. Shangguan Shi glanced back slightly, only to see Wu Qinjun approaching. Wu number 3. You're also here to see a movie. Sister Xiaoxi, hi. Standing next to Wu Qinjun was a girl about 17 or 18 years old, Wu Qinjun's younger cousin. Anan, you're here too. Zhou Anan nodded. I came with my brother. Xiaoxi, I've got the tickets, Zhuoling said, coming over from the other side. Oh, then let's go quickly. Wu Qinjun lifted his chin slightly. Shangguan Xiaoxi, aren't you going to introduce us to this gentleman? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1034. I've heard so much about you. Shangguan, she smiled and said, this is my boyfriend Zhuoling. This is my childhood friend Wu Qinjun. And this is his cousin Zhou Anan. Wu Qinjun took the initiative to reach out his right hand. Mr. Zhua, I have heard much about you. From a distance last time, Wu Qinjun thought Shangguan Zai's boyfriend wasn't much to look at. And now up close, he seemed even less impressive. Shangguan Zai's taste in men was questionable, to say the least. She actually liked this kind of pretty boy. Hello. Zhuoling reached out to shake Wu Qinjun's hand. In the gaze that passed between Zhuoling and Wu Qinjun, Zhuoling knew that Wu Qinjun didn't come with good intentions. Perhaps he came because of Shangguan Shi. Right, Shangguan Shi was so beautiful. Who knows how many men outside coveted her. But even if Wu Qinjun liked Shangguan Shi, what of it? Wu Qinjun lived in a small villa, drove a compact car, and still lost to him. So what if you have money? With money, you still get stepped on beneath my feet. Zhuoling felt a full sense of superiority, reaching out to put his arm around Shangguan Zai's shoulder. Xiaoxi, let's go inside. The movie is about to start. Okay. Shangguan, she turned her head to greet Wu Qinjun and Zhou Anan. Well, go in first then. Zhou Anan nodded. Okay, Sister Xiaoxi, you guys go ahead. Wu Qinjun's face remained expressionless, his eyes fixed on Zhuoling's hand resting on Shangguan Zai's shoulder. He wanted to chop off Zhuoling's hand with an axe. Brother. Zhou Anan nudged Wu Qinjun. They're already far away. Damn. Wu Qinjun threw away the drink bottle in his hand, heart filled with an indescribable frustration. Brother, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Zhou Anan asked tentatively. Wu Qinjun had been abroad for 3 years and only recently came back. During this time, his family had introduced him to many girls, but Wu Qinjun wasn't interested in any of them. Could it be that Wu Qinjun fancied Sheng Guanxi? Zhou Anan swallowed hard. Brother, you don't really like Sister Xiaoxi, do you? Wu Qinjun didn't speak. Zhou Anan continued. Brother, does Sister Xiaoxi know that you like her? I think her boyfriend isn't even half as handsome as you. Sister Xiaoxi's taste is really poor if I were her. Wu Qinjun looked at Zhou Anan and cut her off directly. Go watch the movie yourself. I have something to do. I'm leaving first. With that, Wu Qinjun turned and walked away. Zhou Anan couldn't even catch up. After the movie ended, it was already past 6 in the evening. At 6 in the winter, it was already very dark. Zuoling escorted Sheng Guanxi to the bus station. The bus came every half hour, and when they arrived, the latest bus had just left. Zuoling looked around and then said, Xiaoxi, wait here for me for a moment. Sheng Guanxi nodded. It was quite a while before Zuoling reappeared in front of Sheng Guanxi. Unexpectedly to Sheng Guanxi, Zuoling was on one knee in front of her. What are you doing? Sheng Guanxi was startled. Several passengers waiting for the bus also seemed surprised. Zuoling looked at Sheng Guanxi very earnestly. Xiaoxi, will you marry me? What? A marriage proposal? Sheng Guanxi covered her mouth, completely astonished. Zuoling took out a ring from his pocket. Xiaoxi, today is the 1198th day since we met, and also 3 years and 1 month. The great man once said, any romance not aimed at marriage is frivolous. I'm an honest man, not good at sweet talk, and because of my limited ability, I couldn't even prepare a decent ring for you, but I know that you are not a vain girl. This ring, although it's neither gold nor silver, represents my sincere heart. I love you, Sheng Guanxi. Please give me the chance to take care of you. Ever since meeting Wu Qinjun, Zuoling always felt a sense of crisis. He was afraid Sheng Guanxi would fall for someone else, as people tend to change. Who knows what Sheng Guanxi would be like in the future? The most important thing was that Wu Qinjun was richer than him. So the best solution now was to make Sheng Guanxi a member of the Zhuo family quickly. Once Sheng Guanxi became part of the Zhuo family, she wouldn't dare to entertain any whimsical thoughts. Zuoling knew girls too well. Girls like Sheng Guanxi loved to hear sweet nothings because they were so naive and simple. A few words from a man could easily make them head over heels. So what if there's no diamond ring? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1035. I've heard so much about you. Anai Cuehua would marry Sheng Guanxi even without a diamond ring. Sheng Guanxi, with slightly red eyes, looked at Zuoling and had to admit that she was moved by him. Zuoling, Xiaoxi, will you marry me, please? Zuoling continued. Although my salary is only a little over 100 yuan a month and I can't afford an expensive diamond ring, please believe me, one day, I will bring the most gorgeous diamond ring in the world before you. Please marry me. Upon hearing this, the passengers waiting for the bus were all stunned. Goodness! This young man is really impressive. He earns 100 yuan a month. And he's so good to his girlfriend. Such good men are really rare these days. Marry him. Marry him. The onlookers began clapping their hands. This kind of atmosphere is the most misleading. Sheng Guanxi reached out and took the ring made of wild grass, nodded with her eyes slightly red. Okay. This answer was what Zuoling had expected, but he still pretended to be surprised, lifting Sheng Guanxi up and cheered. Thank you, Xiaoxi. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance. Being lifted up in front of everyone, Sheng Guanxi was quite embarrassed. Put me down quickly, the bus is about to come. Zuoling put down Sheng Guanxi. The bus arrived shortly after, and Zuoling got on with Sheng Guanxi. Sheng Guanxi reminded him, Zuoling, you got on the wrong bus. Your home is in the opposite direction. Zuoling smiled and said, It's okay, I'll take you home. Then how will you get back? Asked Sheng Guanxi. Zuoling casually replied, I'll take the bus back later. Taking you home is the most important thing now. Sheng Guanxi was very fortunate to have a boyfriend as good as Zuoling. Zuoling, thank you. Zuoling smiled and said, "We'll be family soon, you don't need to thank me." Shang Guanxi shyly lowered her head. Zuoling continued, "Xiaoxi, when do you plan to marry me?" He had already planned that after Shang Guanxi married him, he would have her quit her job at the factory, stay at home with peace of mind, tending the house and looking after the elders. After all, Shang Guanxi didn't make much money a month anyway. With Shang Guanxi around, there would be no need to hire a nanny, saving some nanny expenses as well. Shang Guanxi was so beautiful. She could hold her own in gatherings outside and serve as a nanny at home, and could have sons to continue the family line. Such a good wife was hard to find. He was really capable. He had wooed Shang Guanxi with just a grass-made ring. Could any other man do that? Zuoling felt more self-satisfied, and his smile widened. Shang Guanxi curiously said, "What are you smiling about?" Zuoling put his arm around Shang Guanxi's shoulders. "I'm just feeling secretly happy." Secretly happy? Shang Guanxi was slow to catch on. Zuoling continued, "To be able to marry such a gentle, kind, beautiful, and generous wife, how could I not feel secretly happy?" At these words, Shang Guanxi became even more embarrassed. Was she really that excellent in Zuoling's eyes? Zuoling added, "Xiaoxi, when exactly do you plan to marry me?" Shang Guanxi blushed and said, "It's not just up to me. I need to go back and ask for my parents' opinions to see what they say." Zuoling nodded. "Uncle has brought you up, so it's indeed important to ask his opinion. As for your aunt's opinion, you can either take it or leave it. After all, you have no blood relation with her, and she wasn't the one who raised you when you were little." "That's not how you should speak. My mom is a very nice person. She cares a lot about me." Shang Guanxi was not the type of ungrateful person. Her relationship with Enai Cuihua wasn't something that anyone could easily stir up with a few words. Zuoling was a smart man. He knew he should play along with Shang Guanxi at this moment and not contradict her. "Xiaoxi, I must have accrued good fortune in my previous life to be able to marry such an outstanding, kind-hearted girl like you this lifetime." Right now, to him, Shang Guanxi was more important than anything else. After getting married, he would be able to turn himself around and be the master. He wasn't afraid Shang Guanxi would divorce him. Given Shang Guanxi's standards, she couldn't find a better man than him. Even if Wu Qinjun was interested in Shang Guanxi, what could that do? Could Wu Qinjun accept a woman who had been with someone else, a second-hand one? He figured Shang Guanxi wouldn't have the guts to divorce him. Shang Guanxi couldn't read minds, nor did she know what Zuoling was thinking. Simply taking Zuoling's words for heartfelt sincerity. "Zuoling, don't say that. I have many flaws too." Zuoling said, "It doesn't matter. I can accept all of your flaws." After a while, the car reached its station. Zuoling dropped Shang Guanxi off at the entrance of the village before taking the bus back. When he arrived home, Zuoling told his parents about his proposal. Hearing this, his mother, agitated, stood up and slammed the table. "No way. I don't agree." "You have to agree, because I already proposed. Xiaoxi has even accepted," Zuoling said. His mother, overwhelmed with anger and her heart pounding violently, said, "Foolish. Ling Ling, you're so foolish. That Shang Guanxi has neither looks nor family background. She is not worthy of you. Her son was a dragon among men. In ancient times, he could have married a princess or become a son-in-law to the emperor. What was Shang Guanxi? She wasn't even comparable to a sparrow," Zuoling firmly stated. "I'm going to marry Xiaoxi no matter what. I like Xiaoxi. Although her family background isn't great, she's educated, good-looking, and presentable." Saying this, Zuoling casually picked up a fruit knife and placed it against his neck. "Mom and Dad, if you don't let me marry Xiaoxi today, I'll end my life." Seeing Zuoling with the fruit knife terrified his parents. They knew Zuoling was the Zhou family's only bloodline, their lifeblood. Without Zuoling, what would be the point of their existence? Ling Ling, calm down, don't hurt yourself," his mother said anxiously. "Give the knife to Mom, quickly, be good Ling Ling." Zuoling stepped back. "Mom, don't come any closer. Unless you agree to let me marry Xiaoxi, I'll die right here, before your eyes." Zuoling's father turned pale with fear. Ling Ling, my heart's joy, please put the knife down." Given the situation, his mother had no choice but to nod in agreement. Fine. I agree. I'll agree. She had underestimated Shang Guanxi. She was a sly temptress. Look how she had bewitched her son. Such a person deserved no good end. In her mind, his mother cursed Shang Guanxi 1,000 times over. Zuoling excitedly said, Mom, you really agree? Really? His mother continued nodding. When has Mom ever lied to you? Ling Ling, please give the knife to Mom. The fruit knife was brand new, extremely sharp. If it accidentally hurt Zuoling, that would be terrible. That wretch Shang Guanxi would go to the 18th level of hell. Mom, you really aren't deceiving me? Zuoling was somewhat incredulous. Ling Ling, rest assured, Mom is not deceiving you, his mother said fervently. Zuoling then said, Mom, then swear to me if you're lying. Your son should never have a good death. Hearing this, his mother's brow twitched. This silly child. To joke about his own life for a woman. Damn wretch. Sly temptress. You declare it. Zuoling urged, implying strongly that if his mother didn't swear, he was ready to take his own life. Swear now. Zuoling's father also urged his mother. Are you going to just watch Ling Ling hurt himself? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1036. A saying comes true at this point. Mothers will grudgingly raise 3 fingers. Fine, I swear. Seeing his mother had sworn the oath, Zuoling then handed the knife to her. Taking the fruit knife, mothers will felt a sigh of relief. Zuoling continued, Mom, don't worry, Xiaoxi is a very good girl. She will take good care of you and Dad in the future. Mothers Zua sighed. What's the use of being filial? She can't even give birth to a son. Our Zua family will be ruined by that woman. And who knows whether she's genuinely filial, or just pretending. How filial can someone be who's bewitched her own son into threatening his parents with his life? Mother Zua was now seething with suppressed anger. Just wait. Once that little bitch Shang Guanxi marries into our family, shall see how we'll deal with her. Zuoling said with a smile. Mom, don't worry. After we get married, I'll have Xiaoxi quit her job to take care of you 2 at home. And then we can have 2 children. I guarantee every single one of them will be a boy. You guarantee? Mother Zua looked at Zuoling, trying to suppress the fury in her heart. You talk nicely, but what can you guarantee with? You must have been bewitched by that woman. It's not like you can just say it and it happens. People like Shang Guanxi, you can just tell she won't give birth to a son. Zuoling said with a smile. Nowadays, with the advancement of science and technology, as long as one is 5 months pregnant, you can find out the gender of the baby. When Xiaoxi is pregnant, we'll go to the hospital to check. If it's a girl, we just abort it, right? In the 1980s, ultrasound was popular due to family planning reasons, and many families would go to unlicensed clinics to check the gender of the fetus during pregnancy. If it was a girl, they would abort it. If a boy, they would keep it. This laid a severe foreshadowing for the unbalanced gender ratio in later generations. Why would the dowry prices skyrocket in the future? Because there are fewer and fewer girls and more boys. Hearing this, Mother Zua's eyes lit up. Really? Zuoling nodded. Would I lie to you? Mother Zua asked. How do you know this? Our co-worker Xiaosun just ended up with a big fat boy. Didn't his wife first give birth to a little girl? I heard they aborted 5 times before finally having a boy. They had a son, but the daughter-in-law's health was destroyed. But compared to a son, what's a daughter-in-law worth? If a woman divorces, she won't have a good reputation, but if a man's wife dies, he can still remarry. Mother Zua was still a bit uneasy. Are you so certain that Shang Guanxi will agree to the abortion? Zuoling said with a smile. Once she's married into the Zua family, she'll belong to our household, and by then, she won't have a say in the matter. That's also true. Mother Zua nodded in satisfaction. As she finished speaking, Mother Zua continued. It's just that her family background is somewhat inferior. Honestly, I think Lai Bao is better. That kid Lai Bao. Mother Zua hadn't finished her sentence before Zuoling interrupted her. Mom, please don't bring up that Chen Lai Bao again. Looking at someone like that just annoys me. I'm going back to my room to rest. Mothers will watch Zwilling's retreating back inside. All right, don't be angry, Fathers was said. I think Lingling has gotten quite thinner these days. Don't we still have Bird's Nest at home? Go stew some to nourish him. Compared to getting angry, of course, their son's health was more important. Mothers were hurried to the kitchen to stew Bird's Nest. At the Inai family. During dinner, Shang Guanxi announced to her family the news of Zwilling's marriage proposal. Upon hearing this, there was a silence at the dinner table. Inai Cuehua looked at Shang Guanxi in surprise. Xiaoxi, you agreed? Shang Guanxi nodded. I think Zwilling is a very good young man, so I agreed. She had not agreed to Zwilling impulsively. She and Zwilling had 3 years of emotional foundation, and now agreeing to the marriage proposal felt natural. Anna Yang looked up at Shang Guanxi. Sister Xiaoxi, with what did Zwilling propose to you? Anna Yang was a bit afraid that Zwilling had been a freeloader. Of course, a proposal can't be without a ring, Shang Guanxi replied. This answer was indeed beyond Anna Yang's expectation. It seemed that Zwilling's character wasn't as bad as she had imagined. At least he used a ring to propose. She was really afraid that Zwilling couldn't escape the nature of a scumbag, and would resort to freeloading. What kind of ring is it? Show us. Old Lady Shangguan said somewhat discontentedly. Shangguan, she said with a smile. A very unique ring. Shangguan, she was not a materialistic girl to begin with, and she hadn't suffered when she was younger. She thought that the straw ring given by Zwilling embodied the love mentioned in books. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1037. A saying comes true _2. Unique? This statement really whetted everyone's appetite. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. Could it be a pigeon's egg? Bigger than the one Dad gave Mom? When Shangguan Dehui proposed to Inai Cuehua, he did buy a sizable diamond ring. Shangguan, she said speechlessly. Brother, you're so tacky. As she finished speaking, Shangguan, she took out a ring woven from wild grass from her pocket. This is the engagement ring Zwilling gave me. Upon seeing this, Shangguan Su almost spat out the soup he had just swallowed. A ring made of grass. No one expected Zwilling's engagement ring to be a grass-woven ring. Even Anna Yang was taken aback. She had thought that Zwilling wasn't someone to bluff his way through. But it turned out he couldn't escape his scoundrel nature. Given Zwilling's family background, even if he couldn't afford a pigeon's egg, he should have at least bought one made of gold. After all, Zwilling was a minor official with a monthly salary of over 100 yuan. With the current cheap gold prices, 2 months' salary was enough to buy a very respectable gold ring. But Zwilling didn't. This showed that Zwilling didn't take Shangguan Shi to heart at all. He was deceiving Shangguan Shi. Perhaps he just wanted to trick her into his grasp. Such a trifle fooled you? Shangguan Su picked up the ring in Shangguan Zai's hand. His face filled with incredulous laughter. Shangguan, she seriously said. Perhaps in your eyes, this is just worthless wild grass, but to me, it represents Zwilling's true heart. His sincerity is priceless. Zwilling's sincerity couldn't be measured with money. Anna Yang nodded slightly. Yeah, true love is priceless. I agree with Sister Xiaoxi. Yang. Anai Cuehua looked at Anna Yang in surprise. Shangguan, she smiled and said, Yang, you understand me. Anna Yang held a high status in the family, and with her approval, Shangguan, she felt much more confident. But Sister Xiaoxi, the phrase true love is priceless also depends on the situation. Anna Yang continued. For instance, if someone comes from a poor background and has only 1 yuan but gives it all to you, and would do anything for you, that is true love. But if someone obviously has 100 yuan, and isn't even willing to give you 1, that's not true love. That's just taking advantage of you. In Anna Yang's eyes, family background wasn't the issue. What mattered was character. As long as the Zhou family had good character, and Zwilling was truly sincere towards Shangguan Shi, everything else wasn't a problem. But now, Zwilling was merely putting on an act for Shangguan Shi. Hearing this, Shangguan Shi was stunned. She had been immersed in love, and had never considered this issue. Could it be that Zwilling was really just acting? It surely wasn't. Shangguan Dehui nodded. I think Yang is right. Xiaoxi, It's clear from this proposal issue that Zueling is not sincere towards you. Old Lady Shengguan also nodded in agreement. I also think Yang is right. Zueling is just trying to take advantage of you. Who uses a grass-woven ring for a proposal? You guys aren't playing house as kids. What era is this to use a blade of grass to take a wife? Even decades ago this wasn't done. Old Lady Jing added. Xiaoxi, you're not married yet and Zueling is already daring to deceive you like this. What will happen after marriage? Will he still regard you as a person? Shengguanxi fell silent, not saying a word. Shengguanxi, snap out of it. Don't let love blind you. That pretty boy Zueling is not worthy of my sister. Shengguansu flicked Shengguanzai's forehead. Shengguanzai's originally delightful mood was now washed away, leaving her somewhat depressed as she poked at the rice in her bowl. Saying less is more, as saying too much can backfire. Seeing Shengguanxi like this, everyone else fell silent. It was just a precautionary shot for Shengguanxi to brace herself mentally, so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by the truth when it came out. Meanwhile, at the Zhou family's home, Mother Zhou brought Zueling a bowl of bird's nest soup. Zueling sat up from his bed. Mom, where did this bird's nest come from? Their family was decently off, but bird's nest was still a bit extravagant. It was given by Lai Bao a few days ago, Mother Zhou said. I just finished cooking it, eat it while it's hot. Zueling received the bowl with both hands and tasted it. It's quite fragrant. Could bird's nest not be fragrant? Mother Zhou continued. I tell you, Lai Bao is a good girl, her family has money, and her parents are still young. They can earn for many more years. If she marries into our family, not to mention bird's nest, even if you wanted dragon meat from the heavens, Lai Bao would find a way to buy it for you. Look at what Shengguanxi brought last time she visited our home. Was she even half as sensible as Lai Bao? Bringing such cheap things on her first visit. How did her parents even raise her? Upon hearing this, Zueling placed the bowl on the bedstand. I am eating. Can't you give it a rest? Blabbering on, it's so annoying. Mentioning that Chen Lai Bao just ruins my appetite. I can't eat. Mother Zhou, looking anxious, said, All right, I won't speak of it anymore, just eat. Mother Zhou then picked up the bowl of bird's nest again. After Zueling finished the bird's nest, Mother Zhou added, Did I hear that you proposed to Shengguanxi? How did you propose? You didn't borrow money from someone, did you? Where would Zueling get money for an engagement ring since he handed over his monthly salary to her? Zueling laughed. Don't worry, your son is so outstanding, I didn't need a ring to propose. I won Shengguanxi over with just a wildflower. Really? Mother Zhou looked incredulous. Absolutely. Zueling boasted proudly. You should see who your son is. Mother Zhou spoke again. That's true, thinking about Shengguanzai's situation. She must be dying to pay you instead. Getting a wildflower from you is already good enough. How could she even dream of anything else? Not to mention Chen Lai Bao. The Chen family's circumstances are certainly not poor, and yet Chen Lai Bao is still looking to win over Zueling. Who would blame her son for being competent? If Shengguanxi was capable, she'd have men paying her instead. Zueling then asked, By the way, Mom, where did you store the leftover bird's nest? I placed it on the cabinet. Okay. Zueling nodded. The next morning, while Mother and Father Zhou were out for a walk, Zueling secretly packed the remaining bird's nest into his bag and took it with him. Due to last night's ordeal, Shengguanxi hadn't slept well and looked rather worn out by morning. During lunch, Zueling asked with concern, Xiaoxi, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night? Shengguanxi shook her head. It's nothing. Zueling held Shengguanzai's hand and continued. By the way, Xiaoxi, have you told your uncle and aunt about us yet? Shengguanxi shook her head. Not yet, I think it's too soon. We've only just met the parents, should we rush into marriage? Shengguanxi was very hesitant. She really likes Zueling, but she feared he was just appeasing her. What would she do if everyone's words turned out to be prophetic? Xiaoxi, we've known each other for 3 years. Don't you trust me yet? Or has someone been setting you against me? I hate to say it, but your family situation is really complicated, with stepmothers, stepsisters, and 2 elderly folks unrelated to you by blood. Xiaoxi, you're so kind. I worry they might deceive you. No one's stirring anything up. I just think it's too soon. They are all my family. They wouldn't deceive me. Shang Guanxi never considered Enai Tsuehua and the others as strangers. Zuoling sighed. Xiaoxi, you are too kind. By the way, I have something for you. Guess what it is? What is it? Asked Shang Guanxi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1038. Rather starved to death. Zuoling chuckled and said, Guess. What is it really? Shang Guanxi was very curious. Could it be that Zuoling had bought her a ring? Zuoling took out the box he had prepared earlier. Seeing what was inside the box, Shang Guanxi was stunned for a moment. Bird's nest? Zuoling nodded. Yes, it's bird's nest. Bird's nest is a great thing, especially good for girls. Not only does it have beautifying effects, but it also nourishes and tonifies the lungs. I was actually thinking of buying you a ring, but then I thought, a ring is just for show and not really practical. It'd be better to improve your health, so I used the money for the ring to ask a friend to buy it from abroad. Zuoling's skill at deceit was profound. He could lie without batting an eyelid, making it seem as if the bird's nest really was something he had asked someone to buy abroad. He seemed to have completely forgotten who the real owner of this bird's nest was. Really? Shang Guanxi was taken aback for a moment, not knowing quite how to feel. Last night, she hadn't slept at all because of the ring. And now it turned out that things weren't at all what she had imagined. So Zuoling had her best interests at heart. She had misunderstood Zuoling. For a moment, the look Shang Guanxi gave Zuoling was filled with guilt. She felt she really owed Zuoling an apology. Zuoling was so good to her, yet she had doubted him. Zuoling smiled and said, I specially bought it for you. How could it be fake? Thank you, Zuoling. Shang Guanxi's eyes reddened slightly as she embraced Zuoling. Silly girl. There's no need to be polite with me. Zuoling felt very pleased with himself. Over at the Zuo family, Zuo's mother was chatting with the neighbors about Zuoling's marriage proposal. Your Ling Ling must have spent quite a bit of money on the proposal, right? When my son proposed, he spent over 200 yuan on a ring, and that doesn't even include the bride price. Upon this topic, Zuo's mother's face beamed with pride. Not at all. Our Ling Ling didn't spend a penny. Really? Everyone expressed their doubts. Zuo's mother continued. Would I lie to you? The girl really likes our Ling Ling. She virtually wants to pay dowry to us. How could she dare to let our Ling Ling spend a penny? What if our Ling Ling doesn't want her anymore? As these words were spoken, who wouldn't envy Zuo's mother? How could she be so capable? To have such an outstanding son. Is Ling Ling's girlfriend the one who came last time? The tall, thin one? Yes. Zuo's mother nodded. That's her. Aunt Wu, you've seen her, right? I saw her last time she came over. The girl is very pretty. In her heart, Aunt Wu thought that while the girl was pretty, she seemed a bit simple-minded. Otherwise, why would she fall for Zuoling? Zuo's mother's smile was so broad it nearly stretched ear to ear. What's the use of being pretty? To tell you the truth, I actually prefer Chen Liebao. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Mama Ling, look who's coming. Aunt Wu pointed in the direction of the street corner. Zuo's mother turned her head to look, only to see the person walking towards them, laden with large and small packages, was none other than Chen Liebao. I won't keep you. I need to greet our future daughter-in-law. Zuo's mother deliberately raised her voice when she said future daughter-in-law, because only in this way could Chen Liebao hear her. Chen Liebao did hear her and was delighted, which motivated her to carry the parcels to the Zuo family's home. Auntie. Chen Liebao was truly very plump, to the point that Zuo's mother seemed almost non-existent next to her. Even a slight stomp of her foot gave the sensation of an earthquake. Zuo's mother kindly said, Liebao has come. Don't tire yourself. Let Auntie carry those for you. Beads of sweat pooled on Chen Liebao's forehead as she panted heavily. No need, Auntie. I can carry them myself. They're too heavy for you to lift. Zuo's mother said, You're such a dutiful child, always bringing so many things whenever you come over. Your parents are so blessed to have such a good daughter like you. I don't have your parents' luck, having given birth to 7 daughters, each one more disobedient than the last. Despite her weight, Chen Liebao was no fool. She knew Zhu's mother was only after her possessions. But she just liked Zhuling, had liked him since they were young. She was afraid that Zhu's mother wouldn't want anything and, if she truly wanted nothing, Chen Liebao would lose her advantage. So, she and Zhu's mother each had their own agendas. Chen Liebao said with a smile, "It's my duty to be dutiful to you. By the way, has Zhuling not come back yet?" She had timed her visit with Zhuoling's usual time off from work. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1039. Rather starved to death, Zhu's mother walked into the house with Chen Liebao. "Lingling hasn't come back yet. You sit first. Auntie will go peel an apple for you to eat." "Thank you, Auntie." Chen Liebao put the gift she had brought to one side. After a while, Zhuoling returned. When he saw Chen Liebao sitting on the sofa, his face changed. "How did you get here?" He didn't even want to bother giving Chen Liebao lip service. But Chen Liebao didn't mind Zhuoling's attitude at all, stood up and said, "Zhuoling, you're back. Look what I brought you, a gift. This is a men's shirt I had my cousin bring back from abroad, and this a Longines watch. I've heard many people like this watch these days." That watch, it seemed pretty nice, and as far as he knew, it was worth quite a bit of money. If he wore it to work, he would definitely look impressive. Not a single man doesn't love watches. The anger on Zhuoling's face disappeared all at once. Chen Liebao observed the expression on Zhuoling's face and carefully said, "Shall I put it on for you?" Zhuoling didn't refuse Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao was overjoyed, immediately helped Zhuoling put on the watch. "Look how good this watch looks. By the way, I bought a women's one for Auntie too." "Really?" Zhuoling's mother came out of the kitchen. "Really?" Chen Liebao took out another watch box from her bag. "Auntie, this is for you." Zhu's mother was delighted. "Liebao, what do you want to eat tonight? Auntie will cook it for you." Chen Liebao said with subtlety, "Anything Auntie cooks I love to eat. Auntie, let me help you cook too." Zhu's mother refused. No need, you just sit in the living room and chat with Lingling, Auntie can handle it." Chen Liebao continued, "By the way, Auntie, where is your nanny?" Zhu's mother said. "She said there was something urgent back home, and asked for leave a few days ago." Chen Liebao nodded. "Oh, I see." Normally, Zhuoling would certainly not be willing to sit on the sofa and chat with Chen Liebao, this pigsy, but today was different. After all, he had just accepted Chen Liebao's watch. What if Chen Liebao got upset and regretted giving it? A true man can be flexible. "What TV do you want to watch?" Zhuoling picked up the remote control and asked for Chen Liebao's preference. Chen Liebao looked shy. "Whatever channel you tune to, I like to watch." Zhuoling felt goosebumps rise all over his skin. He really couldn't stand it. This Chen Liebao. Although Zhuoling really disliked Chen Liebao, he still endured the nauseating feeling and randomly selected a channel. Chen Liebao now had no interest in watching TV. Her gaze full of tenderness fixated on Zhuoling, as if she wished she could marry him and have kids right then and there. "I need to use the bathroom." Zhuoling couldn't take it anymore and stood up from the sofa. "I'll go too." Chen Liebao also stood up. "I'm going to the bathroom. Why are you following?" Zhuoling turned to look at Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao said lovingly, "I'm accompanying you." Zhuoling, fighting back the urge to vomit, quickly headed towards the bathroom and closed the door behind him. Zhuoling sat on the toilet for more than half an hour before he went to open the door. "Zhuoling, are you okay?" Zhuoling had thought Chen Liebao would have left. He wasn't careful and bumped into Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao stretched out her hand to hold Zhuoling's head. "Zhuoling, how can you be so careless? Are you okay?" Zhuoling's head was firmly pressed against her chest by Chen Liebao, and he was nearly suffocating. "Let go! Let me go!" An opportunity like this was rare, and Chen Liebao wasn't stupid. She had no intention of letting go. Chen Liebao was quite heavy and strong. How could Zhuoling compete with her? After a full 5 minutes, Chen Liebao finally let go. "Zhuoling, are you okay?" It was truly disgusting. How could Chen Liebao be so shameless? Zhuoling immediately covered his mouth and rushed to the bathroom to throw up. The sound of retching was loud. He wished he could vomit out everything he had eaten the night before. In no time his face turned pale. Chun Liebao squatted beside Zhuoling. Zhuoling, are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you throwing up? Do you feel unwell? Do you need to see a doctor? Zhuoling was fuming inside, but he couldn't show it outwardly. I'm fine, I just need to lie down on the bed for a while. Please step aside. I'll help you to your room. No need. Zhuoling waved his hand, feeling like vomiting at the sight of Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao shook his head in frustration. Right, how could a sick person walk? I should carry you to the room. Hearing this, Zhuoling looked at Chun Liebao with a face full of terror. Before he could react, he was scooped up by Chun Liebao, as effortlessly as an eagle picking up a chick. After carrying Zhuoling to the room, Chun Liebao considerately covered him with a blanket and checked the temperature of his forehead with her hand. Zhuoling was nearly disgusted to death by Chun Liebao and finally couldn't take it anymore. Would you please leave? Are you sending me away? Chun Liebao looked at Zhuoling with a face full of hurt. Get out, don't make me repeat myself a third time. I'm going to rest now. Disgust was written all over Zhuoling's face. Chun Liebao looked at Zhuoling unwillingly. But I want to stay with you. I really like you and you know it. Zhuoling looked at her coldly. Chun Liebao wasn't intimidated by Zhuoling's demeanor. If anything, she seemed even more smitten. She really liked Zhuoling too much. Zhuoling was speechless. He couldn't understand how someone could be so shameless. Didn't Chun Liebao know what she looked like? She, resembling Zhu Beiji, fancied him? She showed not the slightest self-awareness. Zhuoling suppressed the churning in his stomach, turned over, and faced away from Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao, with her hands propping up her chin, gazed at Zhuoling with infatuation, wishing she could burn 2 holes in his back. After a while, mothers were finished cooking and called them to eat. With a Zhu Beiji around, how could Zhuoling have an appetite? Mom, you all go ahead, I'm not hungry. Mothers knew Zhuoling disliked Chun Liebao, and his lack of appetite was due to his disgust for her. If you're not eating, so be it. Let's go, Liebao, we're going to eat. Chun Liebao was concerned for Zhuoling. How can you not eat? Man is iron, food is steel, you'll get hungry if you skip a meal. Zhuoling, come on, get up, let's eat together. I'm not eating. Zhuoling's attitude was somewhat unfriendly. Mother Zhua immediately snapped at Zhuoling. You child, how can you talk to Liebao like that? Chun Liebao waved her hand. It's fine, auntie, I just love Zhuoling's personality. This is what makes him so manly. Her last words came with a look of infatuation. Zhuoling couldn't take it anymore. He felt like he was going to be disgusted to death by Chun Liebao. This fatso. When was she going to stop? He couldn't stand it anymore. I said I'm not eating, aren't you annoying? Zhuoling couldn't help but shout. Chun Liebao clenched her hands into a fist. Ah, he's getting more and more manly. Zhuoling. Mother Zhua sported a proud grin. How could her son not be outstanding? Someone was even willing to chase after him with such fervor. Chun Liebao continued. Zhuoling, if you don't want to get out of bed to eat, that's okay. I'll bring the food over and feed you later. Feed him? He would rather starve than be fed by that fatso. Zhuoling was startled and immediately threw off the blanket, standing up from the bed. I'll go. All right. You just leave my house after you've finished eating. Meanwhile, at the Ni family's house, Shangguan took out the bird's nest that Zhuoling had sent and showed it to Ni Tsuehua. Mom, we misunderstood Zhuoling yesterday. He isn't belittling me. Instead, he used the money for buying a ring to purchase bird's nest. He said that rings are flashy but of little substance, and it's better to buy bird's nest to nurture my health. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1040. Set a trap. Although these birds' nests aren't top grade, they're still imported from overseas and are much more expensive than a regular gold ring. With the Zhua family's financial capability, for him to buy these birds' nests for Shangguan was indeed quite remarkable. Could they really have misunderstood Zhuoling? For a moment, Ni Tsuehua wasn't quite clear about the truth. Are these birds' nests really from Zhuoling? Old lady Shangguan, holding little Ni Yun, came over from the other side. Really, Grandma? Shangguanxi nodded her head. Do I need to lie about something like this? Old Lady Shangguan picked up a bird's nest and inspected it carefully. It couldn't be fake, could it? Grandma, why don't you trust Zuoling? Shangguanxi said speechlessly. He's not the type of person to fool me with fake stuff. Right then, Yin also walked in from outside. Shangguanxi hurriedly waved to Yin. Yang, come here for a second. Yin walked over. What's up, Sister Xiaoxi? Shangguanxi continued. Yang, do these birds' nests look fake to you? Yin picked up a bird's nest. Imported from Malaysia, they're not fake. Go ahead and eat them. Birds' nests are very good for women. Hearing Yin's response, Shangguanxi felt relieved. See, I told you these birds' nests aren't fake. How could Zuoling give me fake birds' nests? Zuoling gave these? Yin looked at Shangguanxi somewhat surprised. She really hadn't expected Zuoling to gift Shangguanxi such precious items. That was really odd. Shangguanxi quickly explained the reason to Yin. Upon hearing this, Shangguanxi raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, didn't you ever think that these birds' nests could have been given to Zuoling by someone else, and he just passed them on to you? With Zuoling's character, Yin found it really hard to believe that he had bought these birds' nests to give to Shangguanxi. Could a tight-fisted person pluck feathers? That's totally illogical. Impossible, Shangguanxi said firmly. Zuoling wouldn't deceive me. Yin nodded. Sister Xiaoxi, it seems to me you're getting in deeper and deeper. It seems some things needed to be initiated earlier. Yin squinted subtly. Shangguanxi laughed. Oh well, I just trust Zuoling, just like you trust Emo Qishan. A shallow dimple appeared on Yin's face. If Emo Qishan dares to deceive me like that, I'll smash his head in. Far away in a foreign land, attending a meeting, Emo Qishan sneezed out of the blue. Who was thinking of him? Could it be his wife? A faint smile curled up Emo Qishan's lips, wrapping the outside snow and bringing a chilling cold. The people at the conference table shivered. Big boss, please stop smiling. So terrifying, Shangguanxi said. If our family's Zuoling dares to deceive me, then I will also smash his head in. Yin laughed. Sister Xiaoxi, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Don't worry, you'll never get to see it, Shangguanxi said, smiling as she wrapped her arm around Yin's shoulder. Yin just smiled. After dinner, Yin called Li Tong. Hello, Yang. Li Tong's voice sounded very excited. Due to her flawless skin, having just received some money from her elders, how could she not be excited? She was so happy she could jump. Yin continued. Tong, are you free tomorrow morning? If you are, let's have coffee together. Yin inviting her, even if she was busy, she had to make time. After all, Yin was her god of wealth. Li Tong said. I have time, of course I have time. What time shall we meet tomorrow morning? Let's meet at 10, Yin said. Okay, no problem. Don't miss it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1041. Appointment with Li Tong. One more update. After arranging it with Li Tong, Yang hung up the phone. The next morning, Yang drove to meet her. Truth be told, she didn't want to drive, but it was too cold now, and riding a bike would have taken courage. When she arrived, Li Tong was already there. Yang, over here. Li Tong stood up and waved at Yang. Yang walked over with a smile. Tong, how come you're so early? She was worried that Li Tong might wait for her. So Yang had purposely come 10 minutes early, but Li Tong had arrived even earlier. Li Tong said, well, I have the day off today and nothing to do at home. Yang handed the box she was holding to Li Tong. Tong, this is the newest product from Frosty Jade Skin. Why don't you try it out? New product? The mention of those 3 words lit up Li Tong's eyes. Frosty Jade Skin's products were in such high demand that ordinary people couldn't even buy the limited editions, let alone new ones. Wow. What's this new product? Is it a face mask? Li Tong immediately opened the packaging. Frosty Jade Skin already had a milk pearl powder face mask, but face masks didn't usually look like this, so Li Tong was very curious. wondering exactly what this was. And Ai Yang explained with a smile, "This is a snail essence eye mask, which can lighten crow's feet and under eye lines, as well as reduce dark circles. It is quite effective. Dark circles would appear from staying up late, and no matter how much foundation you applied, you couldn't completely cover them up. This eye mask was simply a savior for night owls. Good skincare products shouldn't stay the same forever, so recently Frosty Jade Skin had not only added eye masks but had also launched several affordable skincare products. Of course, good things were meant to be shared. Eye mask. Do you use it on your eyes?" Li Tong continued to ask. "Exactly," and Ai Yang nodded. Li Tong followed up, Yang, thank you. How much is it?" Although she hadn't used this eye mask yet, Li Tong was already a loyal fan of Frosty Jade Skin. She believed that Frosty Jade Skin wouldn't disappoint her. The eye mask must be really good. And Ai Yang replied with a smile, "This is a new product, currently in the trial phase. Just let me know how it works for you afterward. There's no need to pay." Li Tong wasn't the kind to take advantage. "No way, Yang, I can't accept the eye mask if you're not taking the money." And Ai Yang took a sip of coffee. Tong, if you really feel bad about it, then do me a favor instead." "What favor?" "Just tell me," said Li Tong. And Ai Yang began speaking softly. Hearing this, Li Tong patted her chest and said, "No problem, leave it to me. I promise I'll take care of it." "Then I'll have to trouble you." "It's no trouble at all," Li Tong continued. Yang, if you ever need help with anything in the future, just let me know." Since she wasn't working today, Shengguanxi spent time on a date with Zhuoling. Zhuoling brought up marriage again. Regarding the matter of marriage, Shengguanxi was also somewhat at a loss. After all, it was a commitment for a lifetime, and she wanted to think it over properly. "Xiaoxi, do you not love me?" Zhuoling asked. Shengguanxi replied, "No, I love you very much." "Zhuoling, why would you think that?" Zhuoling continued, "If you love me, why won't you marry me? Especially since you've already accepted my proposal." Zhuoling was anxious. The longer the delay, the more likely it was that Shengguanxi might be snatched away by Wu Qinjun. Shengguanxi thought for a moment and then said, "Zhuoling, this is a matter for a lifetime. I need to discuss it with my family and prepare a lot of things. Have you already discussed it with your uncle and aunt?" Zhuoling replied, "My parents really like you. They can't wait for me to marry you. There's no need for discussion. They are just waiting for your response now." After all, he had even threatened with his own life once, so his parents didn't dare to disagree. Shengguanxi said, "Don't worry, Zhuoling, I'll pick a good day soon to talk to them about this, and I promise you won't have to wait too long." Shengguanxi was in a hurry too. Her family had many misconceptions about Zhuoling, and continuously disapproved of her marrying him. Was she supposed to secretly take her household registration book and sneak off to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register? But doing so would surely anger her parents once they found out. Hearing Shengguanxi say this, Zhuoling no longer pressured her. "Then I'll wait for your good news." Shengguanxi nodded. Zhuoling continued, "By the way, Xiaoxi, I had a friend bring back a gift for you from abroad again." "What gift?" Shengguanxi asked, her face alight with surprise. This time Zhuoling didn't let Shengguanxi guess, and directly pulled a beautifully wrapped gift box from his pocket. "Xiaoxi, why don't you open it and see?" As instructed, Shengguanxi opened the gift box and saw, nestled in the red velvet, a gorgeous Longines watch. "Do you like it?" Zhuoling asked. To ordinary people, a Longines watch was extremely luxurious, but for Shengguanxi, it was hardly worth mentioning. For example, the foreign brand watch on Shengguanxi's wrist was more than 100 times more expensive than the Longines. Unfortunately, Zhuoling didn't realize the worth, and thought Shengguanxi was wearing a no-name watch. Still, since the watch represented Zhuoling's sentiments, Shengguanxi exclaimed with delight, "I love it. Thank you so much, Zhuoling." A Longines watch cost over 200 yuan, and although it wasn't expensive, it at least proved Zhuoling's sincerity toward her. Just as Ai Yang had said, if a person has 1 yuan, and is willing to give it all to you, that's real love. Real love is priceless. Zhuoling earned only a bit over 100 yuan a month, yet he was willing to give her a watch worth over 200 yuan. That was real love. Shangguanxi was overjoyed to have found such a good man in this lifetime. Let me help you put it on, Zuoling continued. Shangguanxi nodded and took off the watch she was wearing to pocket it. With disdain, Zuoling said, Xiaoxi, that watch of yours is all worn out. Why keep it? Just throw it away. Shangguanxi replied, This watch was a gift from my dad, it holds special meaning. Zuoling nodded. I see it's from your father, then it shouldn't be thrown away. After helping Shangguanxi put on the watch, he raised his own left hand and said, Look, Xiaoxi, now our watches even match. Shangguanxi's smile grew even more joyful. Wearing the watch Zuoling had given her, the thought of marrying him grew increasingly stronger. Shangguanxi had made up her mind. If her family still didn't approve, she would be bold for once. Zuoling was such a good person. She believed her family would understand her. Zuoling dropped Shangguanxi off at her home, then headed to his own place. As soon as he got home, Mother Zua asked with a stern face, Lingling, did you take my watch? That watch had been a gift from Chen Liebao to her, and she hadn't even had the chance to wear it before it disappeared. Zuoling nodded. Yes, what about it? What did you take my watch for? Mother Zua demanded. Zuoling sat down on the couch. I gave it to Xiaoxi. What? Mother Zua nearly shrieked. He had given it to Shangguanxi? He had actually given that expensive watch to that little bitch. Do you know how much that watch cost? Mother Zua's face turned red with anger. Without a care, Zuoling picked up an apple. It's just a watch, right? Is it worth all this fuss? Besides, Xiaoxi is not an outsider. She's about to marry into our family. That watch costs over 200 yuan. Over 200 yuan. I couldn't even bring myself to wear it. And there you go, giving it to that little bitch without even blinking an eye. They weren't even married yet, and her son was already so enamored with that little bitch. What would happen if they did get married? Go right now and get that watch back from that little bitch. Go now. Mother Zua pushed Zuoling toward the door. Speechless, Zuoling said, Mom, is it really worth it? I'm your son. Do I mean less to you than a watch? Mother Zua yelled, It's my watch. What gives you the right to give it to that little bitch? If you don't want to get it, then I will go to that little bitch myself and get it. That damned little bitch, daring to take her things. Zuoling continued, Mom, calm down. Xiaoxi is going to marry into our family soon. We can just have her return the watch later. Right now it's not going to happen. We're at a critical point. If you screw up our affair at this time, then I might as well be dead. After saying that, Zuoling casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, appearing as if he were about to commit suicide. Mother Zua was terrified, her face turning deathly pale. Lingling, drop the knife. Put down the knife. Zuoling placed the fruit knife down. Mom, don't worry. Once Xiaoxi steps into our home, you can treat her however you want, and I won't stop you. But not now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1042, Beauty Trap, second update. He had to appease Shangguanxi properly now. If he ruined the relationship at this time, wouldn't all his previous efforts be wasted? With suppressed frustration, Mother Zua said, Fine, fine, fine. I won't look for her. Is that not enough if I don't look for her? Zuoling responded with satisfaction. If you had acted like this earlier, I wouldn't have needed to get involved. At that moment a voice came from the kitchen. Wife, where did you put our bird's nest? Birds' nests usually have some feathers, so the task of picking them fell to Father Zua. Hearing the words bird's nest, Zuoling's brow twitched, and the apple in his hand suddenly lost its appeal. Mother Zua said, Isn't it on top of the cabinet? Look carefully. There's nothing. I only found an empty box. Father Zua replied. Mother Zua, already full of anger and nowhere to vent it, snapped. You useless idiot. You can't even find something as big as a bird's nest. What can you even do properly? Father Zua replied grievously. There really is only an empty box. Just then Zuoling continued. Mom, I took the bird's nest. You took it? Mother Zua looked at Zuoling in surprise. What did you need the bird's nest for? As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Zua realized. Oh no. You didn't take our family's bird's nest to give to that little bitch, did you? By the last sentence, Mother's voice had changed. Zwilling nodded. Yeah. Mother's really wanted to slap Zwilling to death, but looking at her beloved son's face, she couldn't bring herself to do it and instead took out her anger on Father's You useless idiot. Look at your great son. Oh my God. My bird's nest. The bird's nest I couldn't bear to eat myself was wasted on that little bitch. Mother's hit and punched Father's She was furious. Father's was so angry he wanted to scold Zwilling, but he couldn't bring himself to do it and had to suppress his anger. That night, when it was time to sleep, Mother's felt more and more uneasy as she kept tossing and turning. She was heartbroken. There might be a chance to get the watch back, but not the bird's nest. Who knows, the bird's nest might have already ended up in that little bitch's stomach. Sleep, just sleep, Father's said helplessly. It's gone, let it be. Anyway, the Liebau family is rich, so we'll just ask Liebau to give us another one later. Mother's responded angrily. Liebau is not a fool. Our Lingling is about to marry that little bitch. Would Liebau still send stuff to our house? Father's then suggested. Then we'll just have to deceive Liebau. It's not like they are getting married right away. Mother's thought this was a good idea and paid a visit to Chen Leibao's house the next day. That visit indeed proved to be very fruitful. Morning light group. When lunchtime arrived, Zwilling was anxious to meet Shang Guanxi, and he hurried to the cafeteria. He accidentally bumped into someone. And it was a beauty. Ouch. Are you blind? I'm so sorry, are you alright? Zwilling immediately apologized. He knew this beauty, her name was Li Tong, and she worked in the department next door. It was said that Li Tong's family had a powerful background and had connections with the company's CEO, which was why she managed to have an office job. Li Tong looked up, saw Zwilling's face and froze, a blush coloring her cheeks. It's okay. Zwilling also froze. As an experienced player in love games, he knew exactly why Li Tong was blushing. It was clearly the look of a young girl struck by love. Could it be that Li Tong had fallen for him? He was so handsome, youthful and promising, with a high education level. It was completely normal for Li Tong to fall for him. Zwilling's heart raced. You see, Li Tong had far better qualifications than Shang Guanxi. Shang Guanxi had only her looks. Li Tong had the looks, the body, the education, not to mention her family background. Shang Guanxi couldn't compare to even 1/10,000th of Li Tong. Zwilling hadn't even come back to his senses when he heard Li Tong ask, "What's your name? I don't think I've seen you before." Hearing this, Zwilling pointed to his work badge and said, "I'm Zwilling." Li Tong nodded. "I'm Li Tong, just call me Tong Tong." Tong Tong. Zwilling's heart immediately fluttered. A woman wanting to be addressed so intimately clearly meant something significant. "I have to go ahead for something else," Li Tong said, then walked in a different direction. Zwilling wanted to follow her but was afraid of being too forward, so he stared at Li Tong's back for a long time. Li Tong was beautiful and had a particularly cold demeanor. Several male colleagues in the office had tried to pursue her, but all had eventually given up. Over time, no one dared to pursue Li Tong anymore. Zwilling hadn't expected Li Tong to treat him differently. The more Zwilling thought about it, the more excited he became, so much so that he was distracted while having dinner with Shang Guanxi. As they ate, Shang Guanxi said, "Zwilling, I mentioned us to my parents last night, but they seem to misunderstand you and temporarily don't approve of our relationship. I'm so sorry." Shang Guanxi felt very guilty, as Zwilling had been waiting for her, but she kept disappointing him. "Zwilling must be very upset right now?" Zwilling said, It's okay. Seeing Zwilling like this, Shang Guanxi thought he was angry and continued, "Zwilling, I've made up my mind. I'll sneak our household registration book from home. Let's quietly go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and register our marriage." "Oh, okay." Zwilling nodded absent-mindedly, then suddenly realized something was off. "No. Xiaoxi, what did you just say?" Had Zwilling been too excited and hallucinated? Shang Guanxi repeated what she had just said with a smile. "What? Register for marriage?" Zwilling was startled and accidentally knocked over the soup bowl on his dinner tray, spilling the pork rib soup all over the table. Shang Guanxi quickly stood up to wipe the table. How about it? Are you really excited now? Shang Guanxi thought that Zuoling must be too excited about the news. In fact, had he not met Li Tong an hour before, Zuoling would indeed have been very excited. After all, he had always wanted to marry Shang Guanxi. But not now. Not that he never would, but at least he had no immediate thoughts of getting married. Because he was unsure whether Li Tong was really interested in him. If Li Tong really liked him, and he was already married to Shang Guanxi, wouldn't he miss out on Li Tong? Therefore, he couldn't register the marriage with Shang Guanxi for the time being. Zuoling gathered his thoughts and then said, Xiaoxi, I think matters of marriage still need the approval of our parents. After all, they have worked hard to raise you, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we were to act this way, would it? Before he pursued Li Tong, Zuoling wouldn't easily break up with Shang Guanxi. What if he hastily broke up with Shang Guanxi, but Li Tong didn't like him? Wouldn't it all be in vain? After speaking, Zuoling added, Xiaoxi, misunderstandings are okay. I believe I can clear up your uncle and aunt's misunderstandings about me with sincerity. Registering hastily not only disheartens the elders but also makes them feel that I am unreliable. Xiaoxi, I don't want to put you in a difficult position. I am willing to wait. Zuoling spoke righteously, and Shang Guanxi was very moved. She hadn't expected Zuoling to consider her perspective to such an extent. It seems they had misunderstood Zuoling before. Shang Guanxi suddenly felt very sorry for Zuoling. Zuoling, thank you. Thank you for thinking so much for me. Actually, I still have something I've been hiding from you. Lovers shouldn't keep secrets. She shouldn't have hidden her family background from Zuoling. She should be honest with Zuoling. Just then Zuoling suddenly saw Li Tong. Li Tong was walking this way. He absolutely couldn't let Li Tong see him with Shang Guanxi. Zuoling suddenly stood up and said, Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel a bit unwell. I'm going back to the office. Hearing that Zuoling felt unwell, Shang Guanxi said with a concerned face, Zuoling, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, I'm fine, Zuoling continued. I'll just rest at the office for a bit. Don't follow me, go ahead and eat. As he finished speaking, Zuoling ran off like a shot. Shang Guanxi didn't think much of it, assuming Zuoling was just concerned she hadn't eaten enough. Back at the office, Zuoling finally breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that Li Tong hadn't seen him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to explain. That evening after work, afraid of being seen by Li Tong, Zuoling made an excuse to work overtime and sent Shang Guanxi home first. The next morning, when Zuoling showed up at the office again, he was startled, because Li Tong had been transferred to their office. Upon seeing Zuoling, Li Tong turned towards him and took the initiative to greet him. Zuoling, good morning. We're in the same office now. I'm sitting right next to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043. Zuoling is hooked, Part 3. Zuoling looked at the enthusiastic Li Tong and thought he must be hallucinating. The aloof and stunning Li Tong was actually taking the initiative to greet him. Zuoling felt countless envious gazes turning towards him. Oh my god. He couldn't be dreaming, could he? Zuoling pinched the inside of his thigh hard. Ouch. It hurt. He wasn't dreaming. Zuoling looked up at Li Tong. Tong tong tong. Li Tong smiled slightly. Please enlighten me on work-related matters in the future. Of course, Zuoling nodded. If you have any questions about work, just ask me. Thank you, Zuoling. Li Tong casually picked up a paper bag from the desk. To thank you, I'm treating you to breakfast. Zuoling sheepishly accepted the breakfast bag. When a woman takes the initiative to show favor to a man, her intentions are all too obvious. Li Tong must have fallen for him. Maybe she even moved here for him. Zuoling thought smugly to himself. During the lunch break, Li Tong went to talk with other female colleagues, while a few male colleagues surrounded Zuoling. Zuoling, you dog. You even tamed a beauty like Li Tong. Zuoling, share some tips with us. Exactly, you can't keep these tips to yourself. You have to share with us all, so we can all win a beauty. Zuoling was very pleased inside, but he feigned humility. Actually, I didn't do much. Maybe I just happened to be the type Li Tong likes. Zuoling, you can't be serious. Are you still hiding something? Another colleague chimed in. Hey, do you guys know who Li Tong is? She's the factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Zhuo Ling looked at the colleague who spoke in surprise. Really? Although he knew there was some connection between Li Tong and the factory manager, he didn't know Li Tong was actually the niece of the factory manager. Their factory manager was in her 50s, still unmarried, without any children of her own. If Li Tong really was her niece, then she was almost like a daughter to her. After the factory manager passes away, the factory would belong to Li Tong. Of course it's true. I once saw Li Tong come out of the factory manager's office, calling her auntie. Now, isn't that proof enough that she is the niece? As soon as others heard that Li Tong was the manager's daughter, their expressions changed as well, their eyes revealing even more evident envy. Oh my God! Oh my God! Zhuo Ling, you can't forget us when you make it big. Zhuo Ling, you must have stepped in a fortune to be seen differently by the future factory manager. Zhuo Ling, you've got to seize the opportunity, humor Li Tong well, and you could be the future factory manager. Everyone was saying their piece, and Zhuo Ling was also extremely excited. Just like everyone said, if he really married Li Tong, then he wouldn't just be the son-in-law of the factory manager, he would be the future factory manager. In the future, the thousands of people in the factory would be under his command. No. He had to seize the opportunity that lay before him. It seemed that these days he needed to maintain a proper distance from Shang Guanxi. He couldn't let Li Tong find out anything. Shang Guanxi had clearly felt Zhuo Ling distancing himself from her these past days. During lunch, he wouldn't come to the cafeteria but ate in the office instead, and after work, he didn't wait for her anymore. What was wrong with him? Could it be because of the marriage matter? He was angry? Shang Guanxi stood in front of the window, letting out a deep sigh, and just then, she was embraced from behind. Zhuo Ling. Shang Guanxi turned around in surprise, and the person was indeed Zhuo Ling. Zhuo Ling said, Xiaoxi, we've been really busy in our department recently. I'm sorry I've neglected you. Li Tong had taken the day off and wasn't at the factory, so Zhuo Ling dared to be so bold. Moreover, he had been estranged from Shang Guanxi for such a long time. If the estrangement continued, what if Shang Guanxi was deceived by someone else? Besides, Zhuo Ling hadn't confirmed his relationship with Li Tong yet. He couldn't afford to give up the sesame for the sake of the watermelon, ending up seeing neither the watermelon nor the sesame. One must always be prepared for both possibilities. The gloom of several days instantly vanished with Zhuo Ling's explanation. Shang Guanxi smiled and said, It's okay, work is important. I thought you were angry with me. In his heart, Zhuo Ling chuckled at how silly Shang Guanxi was, but sweetly said on the surface, How could I be? Xiaoxi, you are the one I love the most. How could I be mad at you? Shang Guanxi's face blushed a bit, and she pushed Zhuo Ling away. Don't be like this. I'm telling the truth. Zhuo Ling declared with conviction. In my heart, no one is more important than you. Right, tomorrow is Saturday, let's go see a movie together. Before the movie, let's go out to eat first. Shang Guanxi nodded. Alright, I just so happen to have something to discuss with you this Saturday. Shang Guanxi didn't want to keep hiding it from Zhuo Ling any longer. She trusted Zhuo Ling. He wasn't the kind of person who cared about family background. The next day was Saturday. Zhuo Ling arrived early at the spot he had arranged with Shang Guanxi, but found Li Tong there instead. This made Zhuo Ling anxious. What if Li Tong saw him with Shang Guanxi? No, he couldn't let Shang Guanxi come over now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he could put on a good show in front of Li Tong. Zhuo Ling quickly found a phone and called Shang Guanxi. Hey Xiaoxi, something came up today. My mom isn't feeling well, and I have to take her to the hospital, so I can't meet you. Sorry, let's go watch a movie next week instead. Upon hearing this, Shang Guanxi became very nervous. Is Auntie okay? Which hospital are you at? I can come over and visit. As a girlfriend, she naturally had to visit when her boyfriend's mother was sick, bring some good nourishing gifts to make up for her previous rudeness, and also take the opportunity to foster a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Zhuo Ling continued, Xiaoxi, it's not necessary to go through all that trouble. My mom, she doesn't have a serious problem. It's cold now, and there are many germs in the hospital. If my mom transferred her illness to you, then I'd be the guilty one. Just take good care of yourself at home for now. I have to go now, bye. Shang Guanxi wanted to say more, but the call had already been disconnected. He was in such a rush. But thinking that Zhuo Ling's intentions were for her own good, Shang Guanxi's heart grew sweet as honey. After hanging up, Shang Guanxi thought she shouldn't keep Zhuo Ling waiting any longer. She had to quickly get her family's approval for her marriage to Zhuo Ling. To win over her family, she had to first convince Grandma Shangguan. Once Grandma Shangguan gave her approval, nobody would dare to object. Thinking this way, Shangguanxi brewed 2 cups of ginseng tea and headed to Grandma Shangguan's room. Since it was Saturday, Grandma Shangguan was sitting on the couch chatting with Shangguan Furong. Grandma, Aunt Furong, this is the ginseng tea I've just made. Aren't you going out to have fun today, Xiaoxi? Shangguan Furong asked with a smile. Shangguanxi smiled. I was planning to go see a movie with Zhuo Ling, but his mother suddenly got sick, so we cancelled today's date. Shangguan Furong took a sip of the ginseng tea. Xiaoxi, are you and Zhuo Ling still dating? Yes, Shangguanxi nodded. This child is too stubborn. Everyone in the family says that Zhuo Ling isn't suitable, but she is set in her ways. Grandma Shangguan turned to Shangguan Furong. Furong, do you know what Zhuo Ling proposed to Xiaoxi with? Thinking of this, Grandma Shangguan's heart filled with indignation. She could rant about it to Shangguan Furong for days on end. Shangguan Furong responded with surprise. My goodness! Zhuo Ling has proposed. Yes, he did. Grandma Shangguan continued. This scatterbrained niece of yours agreed too. Xiaoxi, bring out the engagement ring Zhuo Ling gave you. Let Aunt Furong have a look. Shangguanxi said exasperatedly. Grandma, why do you still remember this? Didn't Zhuo Ling already buy me bird's nest? Besides, he also gave me a watch later on. Shangguan Furong was confused. Mom, Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Grandma Shangguan recounted the whole incident to Shangguan Furong. After understanding the full story, Shangguan Furong said, Xiaoxi, your grandma is right. You are too naive. I think this Zhuo Ling is trying to pull a fast one. But in the end he still bought me bird's nest and a watch. Shangguanxi protested. Xiaoxi, you are just too young, Shangguan Furong continued. Marriage is a lifelong matter. How could you be so hasty in deciding? Besides, look at the young ladies around you, besides you, who is wearing a ring made of wild grass. From this, it's clear that Zhuo Ling doesn't value you at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1044. It's Always Crazy Once, Part 4. Upon finishing her words, Shangguan Furong continued. Moreover, I suspect that those birds' nests and watches weren't even bought by him. A man who can use wild grass to propose, what else can't he do? If the Zhuo family couldn't afford a ring, that would be one thing, but money is certainly not an issue for them, which indicates that Zhuo Ling doesn't really care about Shangguanxi. What kind of good life can you expect with a man who doesn't hold you in his heart? Little aunt, Zhuo Ling really isn't like that. I've known him for 3 whole years. And I also feel that a ring is not practical. It just gets in the way when worn on the hand. Compared to that, she preferred birds' nests and watches. Shangguan Furong helplessly shook her head. Xiaoxi, I think you're completely bewitched. Madame Shangguan picked up the conversation. Xiaoxi, not only does your little aunt disagree with you being with Zhuo Ling, but even your great aunt thinks that there's a big problem with Zhuo Ling's character. The whole family opposed this marriage, and only Shangguanxi herself couldn't see the actual truth. Perhaps this is what it means to be blind when you're involved in the situation. Shangguanxi said very firmly, I don't care. I just want to marry Zhuo Ling. I don't agree. Madame Shangguan was just as firm. Xiaoxi, your mother passed away early, and I have a responsibility towards you. I can't just watch you jump into a pit of fire with my own eyes. Grandma, please. Shangguanxi clung to Madame Shangguan's arm, nearly in tears. Zhuo Ling and I truly love each other. He's not a pit of fire. Please bless us. Madame Shangguan was no fool. She knew she couldn't afford to be soft-hearted at this time, because Zhuo Ling was not a good man. At the side, Shangguan Furong tried to persuade Shangguanxi. Xiaoxi, Your grandmother is only thinking of your best interests. We won't speak of family backgrounds, but just consider Zwilling's character. He's not worthy of you. And besides, his family situation is too complicated, with 7 sisters. If you really marry him, you're going to regret it one day. Although Zwilling claimed that his family didn't favor boys over girls, Shangguan Furong felt he was lying. How could such a family not favor boys? No, I won't regret it. Shangguan, she continued. And there's no problem with Zwilling's character at all. Everything he does is for my sake. He has my best interests at heart. Shangguan Furong shook her head helplessly. Grandma, I beg you, I've never asked you for anything from when I was small until now. This is the first time, please agree, will you? All those in love are the same. They long to be with the one they love and pray for their family's blessing. The so-called feelings of happiness and sweetness fill their hearts completely, making them deaf and blind to everything else. They focus solely on being with their loved one, unafraid of even a future of hardship and darkness. Shangguan, she was a prime example. She was someone who would disregard everything for love. In life you have to be crazy at least once. Madame Shangguan understood Shangguan Zai's nature well. If she were to refuse outright, she feared that Shangguan she might do something extreme. She sighed and said, Xiaoxi, let me think about it. Hearing this, a glimmer of hope flashed in Shangguan Zai's eyes. Grandma, do you agree? Madame Shangguan said, I can't give you an answer just yet whether I agree or not. I'll let you know when I've made up my mind. As long as Madame Shangguan was willing to compromise, it meant there was still hope for the matter. Shangguan, she said with a smile. Then Grandma, you must think it over. Zwilling really is an outstanding grandson-in-law. I'll never regret marrying him. All right, Madame Shangguan waved her hand. Go on out, I have some things to discuss with your little aunt. As she spoke, Shangguan she turned and walked out. Oh, go then. Whenever you're ready, Grandma, just let me know. After Shangguan she had left, Madame Shangguan sighed. This child Xiaoxi is really becoming more and more like her mother. Su Fun back then was even crazier than Shangguan Shi. They were both people who would do anything for love. Shangguan Furong nodded and sighed. Yes, Xiaoxi has grown up so fast, but some things feel like they only happened yesterday. As she spoke, Shangguan Furong's tone changed as she continued. But Mom, do you really plan on agreeing to Xiaoxi and Zwilling being together? Do you think I, as her grandmother, could just watch her jump into a pit of fire? Madame Shangguan retorted. Is this a delaying tactic? Shangguan Furong asked. Madame Shangguan nodded. Xiaoxi can be quite extreme sometimes. If I didn't say it this way, I'm afraid she would do something earth-shattering. Shangguan Furong sighed softly. But this can't continue forever. You can't keep dragging it out, can you? Madame Shangguan looked up at the window. Let's wait until Yang Yang comes back tonight, then I'll discuss it with her. That child is the cleverest when it comes to ideas. Later that night, when Enai Yang came back, Madame Shangguan eagerly pulled Enai Yang into her room to talk about Shangguan Zai's situation. Upon hearing it all, Enai Yang said with a smile, Grandma, you don't need to worry about this matter. I believe that in a few days, Sister Xiaoxi will break up with Zwilling on her own. Really? Lady Shangguan couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Enai Yang. Enai Yang nodded slightly. Really? Yang Yang, do you know something? Or did you do something? Lady Shangguan asked out of curiosity. Enai Yang responded with a mysterious smile. It was just a little trick. Enai Yang trusted herself, and she trusted Li Tong. Hearing this, Lady Shangguan instantly felt relieved and said with a smile, Ah, Yang Yang, with your words I can rest easy. The next day was Sunday, and Enai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui went to the orphanage as usual. Time flew by, and another week passed. That week, Zwilling was still incredibly busy, so busy that he barely had the time to see Shangguan Shi. Today was an exception. Zwilling, afraid that Shangguan Shi might suspect something, said first, Xiaoxi, have you and your family discussed our marriage? Upon mentioning this, Shangguan Shi looked at Zwilling with a face full of guilt. I'm so sorry, Zwilling, for making you wait so long. I've already talked to my grandmother, but she hasn't given me an answer yet. Zwilling took Shangguan Zai's hands and spoke tenderly. It's okay, Xiaoxi, I understand you, and I can wait for you. On closer inspection, Shang Guanxi was actually even more beautiful than Li Tong. But Li Tong was better at dressing up. Each had their own merits, and if possible, Zhuo Ling truly wished he could have them both. Unfortunately, that was not possible. If only Shang Guanxi had a background like Li Tong, then he would definitely choose Shang Guanxi. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Shang Guanxi was just a country girl. Zhuo Ling no longer wanted to play act with Shang Guanxi, especially since Li Tong was now more important. But he had already wasted a full 3 years on Shang Guanxi and recently even gave her bird's nest and a watch. These gifts couldn't just be for nothing, and those 3 years couldn't have been wasted. So he wanted to extract some interest from Shang Guanxi. How? Of course, by sleeping with Shang Guanxi. During their years together, aside from occasionally holding hands, they hadn't even shared a kiss. Zhuo Ling's calculating mind was working overtime, but Shang Guanxi was completely unaware that she had become prey in Zhuo Ling's trap. Xiaoxi, do you have time this Saturday? Yes, Shang Guanxi nodded. Zhuo Ling followed up. Then let's meet at the cafe under the blossom on Saturday. Okay, Zhuo Ling, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer on Saturday. And on that day, I also have a long hidden secret to tell you. This secret was something Shang Guanxi had intended to reveal to Zhuo Ling the previous week, but it was postponed due to his mother falling ill. Ordinarily, Zhuo Ling would have been curious about Shang Guanxi's secret, but today he was not curious at all. The person he wanted to marry wasn't Shang Guanxi, so naturally, he had no interest in her secrets. In fact, if Zhuo Ling had asked now, Shang Guanxi would have told him about the issue with her family background, because she felt guilty towards Zhuo Ling. Unfortunately, Zhuo Ling didn't ask. It didn't matter if he didn't ask. She would personally come clean on Saturday. After exchanging a few words with Shang Guanxi, Zhuo Ling returned to his office. As soon as he had settled into his seat, Li Tong leaned over to ask him a question. Zhuo Ling could distinctly smell the fragrance of Li Tong's perfume, and it immediately stirred his desires. When he returned home in the evening, his mother came to him again, speaking ill of Shang Guanxi. She hoped her son would give up on Shang Guanxi and marry Chen Liebao. Zhuo Ling said with a smile, "Mom, I think you're right. Shang Guanxi really isn't my match." "Oh my dear son. You've finally come to your senses," his mother said excitedly. "Then tomorrow, I will go to the Liebao family and settle things between you and Liebao." Zhuo Ling continued, "Chen Liebao isn't my match either. Mom, you're underestimating your son. Compared to Li Tong, what was Chen Liebao worth? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1045. Everything is under control. Fifth watch. Zhuo's mother was flustered. It was normal for Shang Guanxi not to match Zhuo Ling, but why now did Chen Liebao also not suit him? "Lingling, could it be that you're dating someone new?" Zhuo Ling shook his head. "Mom, do you know who is pursuing me now?" Although Li Tong hadn't explicitly pursued him, she had always been showing him goodwill, and even moved to the same office as him. Wasn't that pursuing him? "Who?" Zhuo's mother asked. Zhuo Ling proudly said, "Our factory manager's niece." The factory manager's niece? Upon hearing this, both Zhuo's father and mother widened their eyes in surprise. My goodness! Their son was too impressive. He was even getting chased by the factory manager's niece. Zhuo Ling continued. Also, our factory manager's situation is quite special. She's over 50 this year, never married, and has no children. When she gets older, the factory will definitely go to her niece. Before Zhuo Ling could finish, Zhuo's mother impatiently said, "My goodness! Lingling, then you'll be the big boss of the factory in the future." Zhuo's father equally excitedly said, "I always knew our Lingling was capable." Zhuo Ling nodded smugly. The entire Morning Light group would be his in the future. How could he not be proud? At this moment, Zhuo Ling was also feeling lucky. Thankfully, he hadn't married Shang Guanxi. If he had, wouldn't he have missed out on Li Tong and the position as factory manager? Zhuo's mother then asked, "So, have you broken up with Shang Guanxi yet?" Zhuo Ling shook his head. "I haven't had the chance to break up yet. I plan to clarify things with her this week." Zhuo's mother said, "Don't wait for this week, Just clear it up tomorrow. And remember, make her return the bird's nest and the watch. If she refuses, I'll go to her myself. Zhuoling continued. Mom, don't worry. I know how to handle it. Zhuo's mother then asked, What's the name of your factory manager's niece? How old is she this year? Zhuoling said, Her name is Li Tong. She's very beautiful, just a few years older than me. Had this been in the past, Zhuo's mother definitely would not have approved. Joking aside, her son was so outstanding, how could he settle for an older wife? But now, in the face of money and background, none of these were problems. As the saying goes, an older woman brings gold bricks. The older the better. Zhuo's father nodded in agreement. I think what your mother is saying is quite right, Lingling. You can't disdain her. Zhuoling smiled and said, Don't worry, Mom and Dad, I absolutely won't disdain her. Zhuo's mother continued. Yesterday, Lai Bao brought more bird's nest and ginseng. Mom will use a beautiful box to package it. You take it to Li Tong. Zhuoling said, Mom, now that I'm going to be with Li Tong, please don't let Chen Lai Bao come to our house anymore. What if Li Tong misunderstands? Besides, now just seeing Chen Lai Bao was revolting. Zhuo's mother said, That won't do. If Lai Bao stops coming, who will bring bird's nest and ginseng to our house? Who will buy your clothes? Once you and Li Tong's relationship is confirmed, only then can I clarify things with Lai Bao. Zhuo's mother was no fool. How could she sever ties with the Chen family while things were still uncertain? You know, half of the Zhuo family's sustenance was provided by Chen Lai Bao. Chen Lai Bao could be considered a money tree for the Zhuo family. Now it was perfect to use Chen Lai Bao's gifts to support Li Tong. Zhuo's mother's abacus clicked very loudly. Everything was within her calculations. Concluding her words, Zhuo's mother continued. Lingling, keep up the effort on your end. Try to win over Li Tong as soon as possible. Preferably make it a done deal, so she can't leave you. Only then can I comfortably reject Lai Bao. Okay, Mom, Zhuoling nodded. On the other side, as Saturday was quickly approaching, Shang Guanxi found her grandmother. Grandma, have you finally decided about me and Zhuoling? She was truly very anxious. This time, she didn't want to disappoint Zhuoling again. She wanted to give an explanation both to herself and to Zhuoling. Grandmother Shangguan said, Marriage is a lifetime affair, Xiaoxi. What's the rush? I still need to think it over. Shangguan, she speechlessly said, But you've been thinking for more than a week. Grandmother Shangguan chuckled. All good things take time, don't be anxious, Xiaoxi. These words were instructed by Enai Yang to say. Enai Yang's exact words were that within this week, Shangguan she would definitely have a change of heart and see Zhuoling's true face. All she needed to do was to keep delaying Shangguan she. Shangguan she knew that her grandmother was intentionally dragging out the time. She might as well not say too much to the elderly Mrs. Shangguan. After all, no matter how much she said, they would never approve of her relationship with Zhuoling. It seemed she had to resort to desperate measures now. That very night, Shangguan she sneaked into the study room and managed to get a hold of the family household registration book. She planned to confess her true family circumstances to Zhuoling on Saturday and, while at it, register their marriage. Once it's done, let's see what everyone has to say then. Time flew by quickly, and soon it was Saturday. Dressed and ready, Shangguan she headed out to her appointment. But strangely, when she arrived at the cafe under the flowers, she did not find Zhuoling there. Normally, he would arrive more than an hour early. Could something have held him up? Shangguan she randomly picked a seat and sat down, and right then a waiter approached her. Excuse me, are you Miss Shangguan? Shangguan she nodded. The waiter handed her a note. This was left for you by a Mr. Zhuo. Upon reading the note, she found that Zhuoling actually had arrived earlier, but had to cancel their meeting due to an unforeseen emergency. Shangguan she sighed in disappointment. She had even planned a surprise for Zhuoling. Such unexpected turns of fate. It looked like they wouldn't be able to register their marriage today, and she wasn't even sure if Zhuoling would be available tomorrow. With a gloomy face, Shangguan she left the cafe, her good mood from the morning completely gone. Having wandered aimlessly around the streets for several laps, she was just about to head home when a car suddenly stopped in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down to reveal a stunningly beautiful face. It was Enai Yang. Yang. Shang Guanxi looked at Yang in surprise. During the car ride, the two chatted and decided to head to the biggest mall in Beijing. The mall was bustling, filled with the festive spirit as the new year approached. Yang, what kind of clothes do you want to buy? Asked Shang Guanxi, linking arms with Yang. Yang looked around. Definitely a cheongsam. Cheongsams were versatile. They could be paired beautifully with long down jackets or long wool coats. Shang Guanxi said with a smile. I envy you. You can wear a cheongsam anytime. She too wished to wear cheongsams, but she didn't think she had the figure for it. Cheongsams were extremely picky, not just in terms of facial appearance but also body type, especially the latter. Even the slightest flaw could be accentuated. Yang. Another voice echoed through the air. Yang looked up to see it was Du Jiaojiao, Sister Jiaojiao. Hey pretty Xiaoxi, shopping for clothes too? Du Jiaojiao came over with a smile. Yang nodded. Yes, Sister Jiaojiao, are you also here to shop? Why don't we shop together? Of course, I was just about to say that. Their jovial conversation caught the eye of Wu Yinyun, who was also there to shop. Normally, she would have greeted Du Jiaojiao, but with Yang present, she chose to ignore Du Jiaojiao. From Du Jiaojiao's perspective, she could detect Wu Yanyun's evasive gaze. Pretty lady, what's going on with you and Yinyun? Yang was taken aback. She had never discussed matters concerning Wu Yinyun with anyone, so how could Du Jiaojiao know about it? Du Jiaojiao recounted an incident where Wu Yinyun had spoken ill of Yang behind her back. Hearing this, Shang Guanxi covered her mouth in shock. Oh my! How could Yinyun do something like that? Even Yang didn't expect Wu Yinyun to stoop to such mean-spirited actions. It seemed she really despised her to the marrow. Du Jiaojiao continued. And just now, she clearly saw us but didn't come over to greet us. That's really odd. Pretty lady, what's really going on between you and Yinyun? Du Jiaojiao was extremely curious. Yang's eyes remained calm. It's complicated and can't be explained in just a sentence or two. Actually, Yinyun is my younger sister, blood-related. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1046. Scumbag exposes true colors, awakening, 6th update. Facts were facts, and Yang did not want to conceal anything. Du Jiaojiao looked at Yang in surprise. No wonder I always thought you two looked a bit alike. Although Wu Yinyun did slightly resemble Yang, her features were not as stunning. Beauty lies in the skin as well as in the bones. Compared to Yang, Wu Yinyun lacked a lot of natural charisma. Wu Yinyun was the gentle lady locked in the boudoir, while Yang was indeed the world-conquering beauty in brilliant attire. These two, fundamentally, couldn't even be compared. Yang just smiled. When Du Jiaojiao learned that Yang had saved Old Master Du, she thoroughly investigated Yang's background. She knew about Yang's life experiences. She also knew Yang had 3 sisters who were abandoned due to the preference for a male child. Does Yinyun know she is your sister? Du Jiaojiao continued to ask. Yang nodded, she knows. Du Jiaojiao then said, is she blaming your grandmother for abandoning her, and that's why she bears a grudge against you? Maybe. Yang's tone was indifferent. She blames me and my mother for not protecting her. Du Jiaojiao frowned slightly. It's understandable that she blames your aunt, but if she also resents you, then that's unreasonable. How old were you at that time? What could you have done? Yang was also just a child at that time. She probably had only just started to walk steadily. How could she have stopped Grandma Mu from throwing away the children? Yang just smiled silently. Du Jiaojiao continued. Have you explained it to her? I have, Yang shrugged. But she wouldn't listen. Not only did she not listen, but she also saw Yang as a completely wicked villain. Fortunately, Yang was rather open-minded and didn't mind these issues. If it were someone else, Wu Yanyun's heartless words could probably kill them with frustration. Du Jiaojiao sighed. Every family has its own troubles. Alright, let's not talk too much about this. Let's go over there and take a look. Yang nodded, took Shang Guanxi's hand, and followed Du Jiaojiao's steps. After the three of them left, Wu Yinyun emerged from behind the cover. She had a hunch. They were just discussing her. And Na Yang must have spoken ill of her to Du Jiaojiao, stirring up trouble, reversing right and wrong. Perhaps by now, she's already a villain who cannot discern good from evil in Du Jiaojiao's eyes. It was so unbearable. Why should Na Yang malign her behind her back? Wu Yinyun bit her lip hard, her face full of resentment. Yet now, aside from feeling aggrieved, she had no other option. And Na Yang was too shrewd, winning hearts effortlessly. Even if she rushed to explain, Du Jiaojiao wouldn't believe her. In front of Na Yang, she had no choice but to accept her fate. But she didn't want to. Na Yang didn't have as much drama as Wu Yinyun. During the dress fitting, her pager beeped. Seeing the message on the pager, Na Yang's mouth curved slightly, and she turned her head to call Shang Guanxi, Sister Xiaoxi. Shang Guanxi was busy picking out clothes for Zhueling. Hearing Na Yang calling her, she turned her head towards Na Yang. Yang, what's the matter? Na Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel like drinking to buy pear juice. Could you buy me a bottle? I've walked too much today, I really can't walk anymore, and they sell it right over there. Shang Guanxi nodded, sure Sister Jiaojiao. Would you like one too? I'll get you one. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, that would be kind of you, Xiaoxi. You're welcome. With that, Shang Guanxi, picking up her bag, walked in that direction. The moment Shang Guanxi left, Wu Chenjun arrived. Yang, what did you want to see me for? Na Yang smiled and said, let me introduce you to my good friend Du Jiaojiao. Sister Jiaojiao, this is my sister's admirer Wu Chenjun. On hearing this, Wu Chenjun's face flashed an awkward expression. He had never shown any irregular behavior in front of Na Yang, and he didn't know how Na Yang had figured it out. Truly impressive. No wonder Shang Guanxi liked her little sister so much. Na Yang turned her gaze to Wu Chenjun. Brother Wu, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Yes. Na Yang was somewhat impressed by Wu Chenjun's courage to admit it publicly. It seemed that the elders in his family had not misjudged him. Wu Chenjun was indeed someone to whom one could entrust their life. Na Yang nodded and smiled. So, would you like an opportunity to make a move now when she's vulnerable? Wu Chenjun was stunned, not immediately grasping Na Yang's meaning. Na Yang pointed in a direction. Sister Xiaoxi went over there. You can go find her. Whether you can win Sister Xiaoxi's heart during this opportunity is up to you. Now Wu Chenjun understood. Na Yang was trying to matchmake him with Shang Guanxi. Thank you. Wu Chenjun seriously said his thanks and then strode in that direction. If this worked out, he would definitely thank Na Yang properly. Du Jiaojiao came over and nudged Na Yang's arm. Beauty, what kind of potion are you selling in your gourd? Na Yang smiled and said, probably matchmaking potion. She genuinely hoped that Shang Guanxi would find true happiness that belonged to her this time. As Shang Guanxi walked along, she suddenly saw a very familiar figure. That was Zhueling? Shang Guanxi was stunned. Wasn't Zhueling supposed to be busy with something? Why was he here? And the woman standing next to Zhueling looked somewhat familiar. Was that Li Tong? Working in the same department, Shang Guanxi had some impression of Li Tong. Why was Zhueling with Li Tong? Just as Shang Guanxi was about to approach Zhueling, at that moment, Zhueling suddenly took Li Tong's hand. Yes, he took Li Tong's hand. Shang Guanxi froze, her footsteps halting. What was happening? Just then she heard Zhueling continue. Tong, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. What? Shang Guanxi's face turned pale, her blood running cold at that moment. Was she hallucinating? Li Tong curved her lips into a smile, her gaze passing Zhueling and looking towards Shang Guanxi across from them. You like me? Isn't Shang Guanxi your girlfriend? You have a girlfriend. How can you say such things to me? Aren't you afraid Shang Guanxi will hear and get angry? Zhueling was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Tong to know about his and Shang Guanxi's relationship. But Zhueling quickly recovered, his expression filled with affection. Shang Guanxi? What is Shang Guanxi? She doesn't even compare to your little finger. Tong, the person I like is you. I want to be with you. Could you give me a chance? Li Tong raised her eyebrows. You shouldn't say that. You've been with Shang Guanxi for 3 years. If you don't like her, how could you endure her for 3 years? Tong Tong, listen to me. I really don't like Sheng Guanxi at all. I don't feel anything for her. The only reason I've endured her for 3 years is because she kept pestering me relentlessly. I was driven to a corner. That's why I reluctantly agreed to her. Otherwise, how could a country bumpkin like Sheng Guanxi ever match up to me? Pestering relentlessly? So she was just a persistently annoying country bumpkin. That's just ludicrous. Sheng Guanxi never imagined that one day she would hear such disheartening words about herself from Zhueling. Tears blurred Sheng Guanxi's sight unknowingly. Li Tong continued, I don't see Sheng Guanxi as that kind of person. How can you prove what you're saying is true? Zhueling immediately held up 3 fingers. I can swear to the heavens. Li Tong laughed. If swearing were effective, then there wouldn't be so many heartbreakers in this world. How do I know you're not lying to me? Besides, I heard you've already proposed to Sheng Guanxi. This Li Tong was indeed the factory director's niece. She had quite the intelligence network. She even knew about that. At times like this, instead of denying everything, it might be better to just admit it openly. Perhaps Li Tong might even admire him more for it. Zhueling said, Actually, the proposal wasn't really my intention. I just wanted to placate her, otherwise I wouldn't have come without even preparing a ring. Tong Tong, you know what? I just took a ring made of wild grass. She still agreed. Can you believe it? Sheng Guanxi must be a fool. Ha ha ha. Li Tong chuckled. Then she really is a fool. Sheng Guanxi treated Zhueling like a treasure, but in his eyes, she was even less than grass. What else is that if not foolishness? Hearing this, Sheng Guanxi could no longer bear it, and turned around and walked away. She was too heartbroken, not even watching where she was going, and bumped directly into a wall of people, her tears instantly staining the person's clothes. What's wrong, Sheng Guanxiaoxi? Who bullied you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.